Douluo, Supernatural Replication and Evolution System. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 126, Playing as a Ball with a 700,000-year-old Soul Beast. The camera returns to Tianyu and King Kong Dragon Emperor. In the previous chapter, King Kong Dragon Emperor was also blasted into a huge pit by Tianyu. In a dark pit 1,000 meters deep, Tianyu was now suspended above the pit, because he knew that King Kong Dragon Emperor would never be so easy to deal with. This level of attack might injure it, but it would definitely not be so seriously injured that it could not get up. Sure enough, when Tianyu approached the pit, a golden figure quickly jumped out of the dark pit. A punch carrying hundreds of thousands of tons of force also hit Tianyu directly. Tianyu also quickly stretched out his hands to resist, and the whole person was directly repelled thousands of meters away. Because of the arm blocking, he did not suffer any injuries. At this time, King Kong Dragon Emperor had a few bloodstains on his skin and his hairstyle was a bit embarrassed, but he did not seem to be seriously injured. Tianyu also said, "Really tough, but, compared to me, it is still far behind." Then the golden patterns on his body began to shine, and then he attacked King Kong Dragon Emperor directly. "If you can transform, I can do it too," King Kong Dragon Emperor said. Then, golden dragon scales began to grow on its humanoid body, spreading all the way to its scalp, and its hair turned into golden color like steel. A pair of golden dragon horns also stretched out from its head, and a golden dragon tail appeared along with the dragon horns. Its hands also turned into two powerful golden dragon claws. At this time, it truly entered the strongest form, the half-dragon form. Then, its whole body burst into golden soul power, and then it punched Tianyu who was attacking it. King Kong Dragon Emperor's enlarged dragon claw-shaped fist also collided with Tianyu's fist, full of golden light. But this time, Tianyu was actually directly repelled thousands of meters away. That's right, after the transformation, King Kong Dragon Emperor's pure strength actually exceeded Tianyu. Tianyu was directly blasted back, and his arms were numb from the shock. King Kong Dragon Emperor also directly pursued the victory and continued to attack Tianyu. King Kong Dragon Emperor directly caught up with Tianyu who was retreating, and punched Tianyu in the head. Tianyu also quickly stretched out his hands to block the damage. After all, his handsome face couldn't be hit, otherwise no girl would like it. King Kong Dragon Emperor's punch also hit Tianyu's hands that were stretched out to block. Before Tianyu could fight back, King Kong Dragon Emperor continued to punch him. Tianyu could only continue to resist King Kong Dragon Emperor's attack. King Kong Dragon Emperor's offensive was getting more and more fierce, and he punched Tianyu almost every second. You know, each punch has hundreds of thousands of tons of power, and Tianyu, who had resisted hundreds of punches, couldn't bear it. King Kong Dragon Emperor directly seized a gap and punched Tianyu in the face. Tianyu was also directly blown away to a mountain 10,000 meters away. Seeing this scene, Jin Ringsu almost couldn't help but rush down and beat King Kong Dragon Emperor. But she still held back, because Tianyu had told her before he left to stay here and not to attack. "Human boy, weren't you very powerful just now? Why are you so weak now?" King Kong Dragon Emperor laughed loudly. Hearing King Kong Dragon Emperor's shouting, Tianyu, who was trapped in the mountain, also smiled. Tianyu also pulled his body, which was scarred by King Kong Dragon Emperor's attack, out of the mountain. After seeing Tianyu come out, everyone who was holding their breath relaxed. They were scared to death. They thought Tianyu was defeated by King Kong Dragon Emperor. Tianyu adjusted his hair and said, "Little dinosaur, I didn't use my full strength, and you're so proud." Then a golden light flashed in Tianyu's eyes, and he said, "Don't forget, my martial soul is also a dragon martial soul." A terrifying dragon power instantly rose from Tianyu's body. Tianyu's whole body was directly wrapped in golden holy light. The golden holy dragon suddenly broke open, and a pair of golden dragon wings instantly stretched out. Then came two pairs of hands that turned into golden dragon claws, followed by a golden dragon tail. Finally, the golden light broke through, revealing Tianyu's final form at this time. At this time, Tianyu was also in a half-dragon state. His whole body was covered with the golden dragon scales, and it was also emitting dazzling light. A pair of golden holy dragon horns also appeared on Xianyu's head. Xianyu's hands also turned into dragon claws like the King Kong Dragon King, but the golden holy light was obviously more advanced than the earthy yellow King Kong Dragon King. Just after Xianyu's pupils also turned into golden dragon pupils, he also completely completed the half-dragon form. Xianyu twisted his neck and said, "Little Earth Dragon, let me show you what it means to be a real half-dragon. Earth dragons are Earth dragons, how can they be compared with golden holy dragons?" Then Xianyu's mind moved, and the whole person appeared directly in front of the King Kong Dragon King. Xianyu did not use the power of space, but the pure speed was too fast. The speed was so fast that the King Kong Dragon King did not react, and Xianyu had already appeared in front of it. The King Kong Dragon Emperor just reacted and was about to distance himself. But Xianyu didn't give it a chance at all. He raised his hand and punched it directly on the forehead of the King Kong Dragon Emperor. The powerful force directly knocked it crooked and it fell to the left. But Xianyu quickly swung his left foot again, and the huge force directly knocked the King Kong Dragon Emperor, who was about to fall, into the sky. The two consecutive hits directly stunned the King Kong Dragon Emperor, because Xianyu's strength after the transformation was much more terrifying than it. The King Kong Dragon Emperor, who was knocked into the air, just wanted to take back the control of his body, because his body had been hammered stiff by Xianyu. But Xianyu didn't want to give it another chance. Xianyu stepped on his feet and the whole person flew directly into the air. He came to the King Kong Dragon Emperor who was still stiff and said, "Little Earth Dragon, weren't you so proud just now? Keep jumping for me to see. I'm better than you." Before the King Kong Dragon Emperor could curse, Xianyu directly hit him with a golden powerful punch, hammering the King Kong Dragon Emperor to the ground. Just when the King Kong Dragon Emperor was about to hit the ground, Xianyu moved quickly again and came directly to the bottom of the King Kong Dragon Emperor. He kicked the King Kong Dragon Emperor into the air again. It was like kicking a ball. Everyone who saw this scene was so shocked that their jaws almost dropped. Fuck, is this the great god? He actually kicked the soul beast of a 700,000-year soul beast as a ball. Too amazing, the great god Shilezi is simply my idol. Not only can he punch a 100,000-year soul beast, but he can also kick the 700,000-year soul beast King Kong Dragon Emperor as a ball. I dare to say that there is no genius in the world who can do this. I kneel. The King Kong Dragon Emperor, who was humiliated in this way, was also angry. He thought to himself, "I am the king of all beasts, the King Kong Dragon Emperor, who has lived for nearly 1,000,000 years. Today, I was humiliated by you, a human boy who has cultivated for more than 10 years. The King Kong Dragon Emperor, who was being kicked by Xianyu, suddenly burned with a terrifying earthy yellow light. The King Kong Earth Dragon who saw this scene not far away said, "Boss, are you going to burn the dragon soul?" Book Friends Group. 100,861,943 Join the group to urge for more. Please join the group. Chapter 127, 7,000 Years of Fireworks. The body of the King Kong Dragon Emperor was instantly burning with terrifying golden soul power. A golden dragon-shaped soul also appeared behind it, emitting a burning light. The King Kong Dragon Emperor's body suddenly grew again, directly growing to more than 3 meters tall, and the muscles all over his body were about to burst through his skin. The two pairs of golden dragon horns became longer and more majestic, and the two sharp golden dragon claws hung in front of his chest. The two golden dragon pupils also turned red, and the whole body exuded a momentum that was more than 10 times stronger than before. Burning dragon souls is a special magical power possessed by some dragon soul beasts. The moment it is activated, the strength can increase tenfold. The price is that it will consume the origin of the dragon race, which will cause the age to regress at the least, and the body to explode and die at the worst. And when using it, it will lose reason and cannot control its body until the threat is removed before it can regain reason. In this state, the King Kong Dragon Emperor is strengthening his own strength every minute and every second at the cost of consuming his cultivation. At this time, the King Kong Dragon Emperor can be said to have completely given it up. Xianyu, who was watching this scene, was speechless and said, "You can't use your ultimate move all at once," one said after another, and the nesting dolls. But at this time, the King Kong Dragon Emperor could no longer listen to any words, and his eyes were emitting red light and he rushed towards Xianyu. He directly hit Xianyu with a dragon claw, and the speed was so fast that Xianyu could hardly see clearly. Xianyu slightly turned his body, and the dragon claw directly scratched his handsome face, and a shallow blood mark appeared on Xianyu's face in an instant. Fortunately, Xianyu dodged quickly, otherwise he might have been disfigured. Although Xianyu didn't care whether he would be disfigured, he was very angry. Xianyu directly hit the Golden Holy Dragon's killing kick. A kick directly hit the King Kong Dragon Emperor's stomach, and directly kicked the King Kong Dragon Emperor several thousand meters away. The King Kong Dragon Emperor, who was hit hard by this blow, seemed to be a dragon that had nothing wrong, and continued to wave his dragon claws to attack Xianyu. Because it was irrational and painless in this state, the only way to stop it was to completely destroy it and make it unable to get up. At this time, the King Kong Dragon Emperor also made Xianyu feel a little tricky. Because Xianyu found that although the King Kong Dragon Emperor had no reason after burning the dragon's soul, his defense and attack power had become much higher. The Golden Holy Dragon's killing kick, which could have kicked the King Kong Dragon Emperor with one blow, only caused slight damage to the King Kong Dragon Emperor this time. But it was not a big problem for Xianyu. No matter how the King Kong Dragon Emperor transformed, Xianyu could still abuse the King Kong Dragon Emperor. Facing the King Kong who was rushing towards him again, Xianyu just twisted his wrist casually. At the moment when the King Kong Dragon Emperor had already rushed to his face, Xianyu directly punched out and hit the King Kong Dragon Emperor's face hard. The terrifying pure power made the King Kong Dragon Emperor's body, which was not afraid of pain, stiffen for a second. But this second was enough. Then Xianyu directly entered the crazy combo mode. Xianyu punched the King Kong Dragon Emperor on the chin, and then punched the King Kong Dragon Emperor in the abdomen. Xianyu quickly swung the Golden Holy Fist and hit various parts of the King Kong. Although 1 or 2 punches could not break the defense of King Kong Dragon Emperor at this time. But what if it was 1,000 punches, 10,000 punches? Xianyu's fists turned into golden meteor shower, madly bombarding every part of King Kong Dragon Emperor's body. Xianyu blasted King Kong Dragon Emperor into the ground with one blow, and then immediately grabbed one of King Kong Dragon Emperor's feet and threw it directly to several mountains not far away. King Kong Dragon Emperor pierced through several mountains directly like a sharp arrow from a string. Because Xianyu threw it too hard, King Kong Dragon Emperor was still flying fast in the air after piercing several mountains. Xianyu moved quickly and came directly above the flying King Kong Dragon Emperor. He stretched out his hand and grabbed King Kong Dragon Emperor's head directly, and smashed it hard from a height of 10,000 meters to the ground. King Kong Dragon Emperor's 3-meter-tall body fell to the ground and smashed a 1,000-meter-deep pit on the ground. Xianyu also landed directly in front of King Kong Dragon Emperor. At this time, King Kong Dragon Emperor was attacked by Xianyu to such an extent that cracks appeared on his body, but this was still not enough. Since Xianyu stopped attacking, King Kong Dragon Emperor's body also got out of the rigid state, and he was about to grab Xianyu with a dragon claw. Xianyu also stepped on King Kong Dragon Emperor's head into the ground again. Xianyu said lightly, "Keep lying down for me. It's time to solve the combat power." Xianyu kicked King Kong Dragon Emperor, who was stuck in the ground, and flew him into the sky. The sacred golden light flashed on Xianyu's hands instantly. 2 sacred and inviolable golden holy dragons also hovered above his fists. Xianyu jumped up directly, and the 2 golden holy dragon phantoms directly penetrated the King Kong Dragon Emperor in the air. Xianyu landed gracefully. I saw that the King Kong Dragon Emperor in the air had traces of shattering all over his body, and soon it exploded and turned into golden light, floating in the sky above the secret realm. It looks good, but it is a bit of a soul beast, especially a soul beast of 700,000 years. King Kong Dragon Emperor is also completely broken. Seeing that their leader had been killed, the 4 King Kong beasts also ran away. Xianyu didn't care about them. The Beast King was dead, and a new Beast King must be needed to take charge of the secret realm, otherwise there would be chaos in the secret realm. Xianyu was not afraid of leaving behind troubles to persecute the next batch of people entering the secret realm. Xianyu believed that after this battle, these soul beasts must have had a shadow on humans, and they probably would never eat humans again. After all, they were not sure if there would be another Xianyu to beat them up. Before they ran away, Xianyu sent a message, "If you eat humans again in the future, I will come back and beat you up." After hearing Xianyu's warning, The 4 King Kong beasts would not eat humans, and would run away even if they saw humans in the future. Because Tianyu's terrifying figure had left an indelible shadow in their hearts for the rest of their lives. Seeing that Tianyu successfully defeated the evil dragon and saved the thousands of disciples present, the thousands of disciples present also cheered and celebrated enthusiastically. Master Shilezi is so awesome, he used a beast king of 700,000 years old as a firework. I just want to ask who can do it. Master Xia Abe Long, awesome. You will be our idol in the future. A fan who was officially conquered by Xianyu's strength was still cheering enthusiastically. That's right, Master, you will be our idol in the future. Hearing someone cheering for him, Xianyu also turned his head and took a look. Oh my god, the Master looked at me. My life is worth it. A disciple said with tears of gratitude. Xianyu was speechless for a while, thinking, my charm is so exaggerated, a man is grateful just because I looked at him. Females are okay, but your brother is a man. Xianyu doesn't reject male fans, mainly because he doesn't like such enthusiastic male fans. He can't stand too enthusiastic, but he can stand female fans. After Xianyu's show-off, more than 90% of the sect disciples present became his fans, half of whom were female disciples. Chapter 128 Brother-in-Law. Xianyu removed his combat form and planned to ask Jinringsu to come down and leave. Although the gate of the secret realm has not been opened yet, it does not mean that Xianyu cannot get out. Just when Xianyu was about to leave, several figures came to Xianyu. Xianyu looked over and saw that it was Yanling, Zhang Wei, Ning Ming and others. Yanling and Zhang Wei immediately clasped their fists and said, "Thank you, great God, for saving my life." Xianyu waved his hands and said indifferently, "No, it's just a piece of cake." The main reason was that he was tired of hearing this during his time in the secret realm. Seeing Xianyu's indifference, Yanling and others also sighed in their hearts. The great God is the great God. If someone else saved so many people's lives, they would definitely ask for compensation afterwards, but Xianyu looked indifferent, as if it was really a piece of cake, and Xianyu's appearance of intending to leave could not deceive people. Seeing that Xianyu was really going to leave directly, Yanling and the others also quickly said, "Master, can we know your name?" Xianyu thought about it and decided to tell his real name. After all, he would not be able to fool others by using the code name used by Shilezi and others. Dongfang Xianyu. Xianyu said lightly. After learning Xianyu's name, Yanling said directly, "Brother Xianyu, you will be my savior from now on. My name is Yanling, and I am the son of the leader of Yanshan sect. If you have any problems in the future, you can come to Yanshan sect to find me. As long as it is something I can do, I, Yanling, will do my best to help you." Then he handed over a scarlet token and said, "This is the highest level token of our Yanshan sect." Xianyu thought about it and accepted the token handed over by Yanling. He thought to himself, this red-haired guy looks very pleasing to the eye. It seems that he wants to be my younger brother. I wonder if I should accept it. Zhang Wei on the side saw that Yanling was so quick to lick him, and he was not to be outdone. He handed over a golden token and said, "Brother Xianyu, my name is Zhang Wei. This is the highest level token of our Jinshan sect. As long as you take this token to Jinshan sect, all the disciples of our Jinshan sect will listen to you unconditionally." Zhang Wei said this without any boasting. Like Yanling, his father was also the leader of the Golden God sect. If his father knew that he could find such an awesome elder brother, he would definitely not disagree. Xianyu also took the golden token handed over by Zhang Wei. He thought, this yellow-haired guy looks pretty good, and they are willing to fight against the soul beasts, so they should be good people. This kind of thing won't take up space anyway, and maybe it can solve some small troubles when necessary. Seeing that Yanling and Zhang Wei both showed their respect, Ning Ming also wanted to show his respect, but their 7 treasures glazed tile sect didn't have this kind of token. Looking at Ning Ming, who was hesitant to speak, Xianyu asked, "Are you from the 7 treasures glazed tile sect?" Xianyu asked this because he sensed a familiar soul power fluctuation in Ning Ming's body. Seeing that Xianyu actually asked him, Ning Ming also answered, "Yes, brother Xianyu, I am the eldest son of the leader of the 7 treasures glazed tile sect, Ning Ming." "What is your relationship with Ning Rongrong?" Xianyu asked, because he had already guessed something. "God Xianyu, Rongrong is my sister." Ning Ming also answered truthfully. Xianyu also nodded and said, "Well, Then you don't have to be polite to me, just call me Tianyu. Rongrong is my friend, and I also know Master Ning, we are all acquaintances. Oh. Ning Ming nodded, thinking, I didn't expect that my sister who just went out not long ago would be friends with such a powerful god. And is it really just friends? Why don't I believe it? Ning Ming doubted in his heart, and his intuition told him that the relationship between Tianyu and his sister was definitely not simple. Ning Ming still had to be polite to this Ning Ming. After all, if he picked up Ning Rongrong in the future, he would be considered Tianyu's that, so he had to leave a good impression. Then Tianyu also chatted with Yanling and others for a while. Just when Xiao Zhuqing was about to approach Tianyu, a golden figure came to Tianyu's side before her. It was a woman who was extremely beautiful, with long golden hair and beautiful golden pupils, which made her look so holy and beautiful. Who else could have this appearance except Jin Ringsu? As soon as Jin Ringsu came down, Yanling and others recognized her immediately. They were even stunned for a few seconds when Jin Ringsu appeared, because they couldn't believe that there was such a beautiful woman in the world. They thought it was an illusion. After being baptized by Tianyu, Jin Ringsu was much more beautiful than before, so it was normal that they didn't recognize her at the first time. Goddess Jin Ringsu? Is it really you? Yanling and Zhang Wei asked. They used to think of Jin Ringsu as a goddess. Jin Ringsu looked at Yanling and Zhang Wei, then nodded lightly and said, it's me. After hearing Jin Ringsu's answer, Yanling and Zhang Wei were also a little excited, but then they thought of something. Goddess Jin Ringsu, what is your relationship with brother Tianyu? Yanling asked tremblingly. After all, Jin Ringsu was too close to Tianyu, and they didn't dare to think about it anymore. After all, one was their idol, Tianyu, and the other was the goddess, Jin Ringsu. Jin Ringsu also said very straightforwardly, Tian is my lover. She doesn't like to hide things. At this moment, Yanling and Zhang Wei's hearts were broken. Because in their hearts, Jin Ringsu has always been the cold goddess who is pure and innocent, and they have never thought that there can be any man who is worthy of Jin Ringsu, the perfect goddess. But today, this goddess told you in front of you that she already has a boyfriend, and this man is the big brother you admire the most. Looking at their expressions of despair, everyone present was a little speechless. Jin Ringsu also quickly hid beside Tianyu, thinking, this won't be two Yangsheng's again. But it is obvious that Yanling and Zhang Wei are not perverts like Wu Yangsheng, who'll destroy it if they can't get it. They didn't treat Jin Ringsu as a goddess just because they were greedy for her body. What they liked was the purity, otherworldliness, and sacredness of Jin Ringsu. They were not like those LSPs who were greedy for her body. On the contrary, after they found out that Jin Ringsu actually had a boyfriend, they no longer regarded Jin Ringsu as a goddess, but Tianyu was still the big brother they had to recognize. Seeing that Yanling and Zhang Wei didn't make any moves, Jin Ringsu also relaxed. If Yanling and Zhang Wei were really the kind of people Wu Yangsheng, Tianyu could kill them the moment they had evil thoughts. But Tianyu couldn't see any evil thoughts in the eyes of these two people, only righteousness, which is only found in people who often do good things. After Tianyu was possessed by the devil, he was naturally very sensitive to this kind of thing, and he could tell whether you were evil or good at a glance. Obviously, none of the 5 people in front of Tianyu were evil. If they were evil, they would not have stood up for thousands of unrelated disciples. They could have left secretly without being noticed by the soul beast. There were also many people in the crowd who had the ability to fight against the soul beast but chose to hide. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 129, Leaving the Secret Realm, End of the Secret Realm. Yanling said, Brother Tianyu, if you have a chance in the future, you must come to our Yanshan sect to play. Tianyu also nodded perfunctorily. After all, what is fun in Yanshan sect? There are no girls. Yanling didn't know what Tianyu was thinking, but continued, Brother Tianyu, I also have a pretty cousin. I will introduce her to you when you come. When he heard that there was a pretty girl, Tianyu also said, then I will go. Remember to introduce her to me when I go. Yes, Brother Tianyu, I promise to introduce you when I go. Yanling also promised hurriedly. Jin Ringsu, who was standing aside, saw that Tianyu wanted to meet other girls even though he had her, and snorted angrily. Hearing Jinriksu snort, Xianyu also turned around and stopped talking to Yanling. After knowing that Xianyu likes pretty girls, Zhang Wei also said to Xianyu, "Brother Xianyu, you should also come to our Jinshin sect to play. We also have many pretty girls in Jinshin sect." Zhang Wei, don't lie to brother Xianyu. You Jinshin are all muscular men. Where are the pretty girls? Yanling directly exposed. After hearing what Yanling said, Xianyu, who had originally planned to go to Jinshin sect sometime, also gave up the idea. Are you kidding? Muscular men? He would never go. Zhang Wei, who was exposed, scratched his head in embarrassment. Okay, I won't argue with you anymore. Zui and I have something to do, so we'll leave first. Xianyu waved his hand. Seeing that Xianyu was leaving, Yanling and others did not try to stop him. After all, Xianyu might really have something to do, and being able to stay and chat with them for a while was already a great honor for them. Then he waved goodbye. But the people who waved suddenly felt something was wrong. Yanling said, "Brother Xianyu, the gate of the secret realm hasn't opened yet." Xianyu smiled slightly and said, "Who said I can't get out if the gate isn't open?" Xianyu gently placed his hand on the gate of the secret realm, and the special force in his hand slowly activated. A giant blue special tunnel also appeared in front of everyone. Everyone who saw this scene was so shocked that their jaws dropped. After all, it was the first time they had seen the gate of the secret realm opened by force. To put it bluntly, it was the first time they had seen such an operation, so they were inevitably surprised after seeing it. Seeing the exit of the gate of the secret realm opened, the disciples of the sect who gathered together were also a little confused. A disciple said, "Why is the gate of the secret realm open? Isn't it time yet?" Yes, my time soul weapon shows that the gate of the secret realm will open in 2 hours. It won't open even if it's 1 second later." A disciple looked at the time soul weapon in his hand and wondered. He even suspected that there was something wrong with his eyes. It must be the great god Shilezia who took action. A disciple who saw Xianyu standing in front of the gate of the secret realm said, "Well, it must be the great god who opened the secret door. After all, apart from the great god, no one here has the ability to open the space door. The great god is the great god. He even forced you to open the secret door before the time is up. Sure enough, the big boss wants to leave. You can't stay in the secret realm even if you want to." A disciple sighed. If they had this skill, they would have run out when the King Kong Dragon Emperor came. It was because the secret door was not open that they were trapped in the secret realm. Seeing that the disciples were all gathering towards the space door, Xianyu also directly held Jinriksu's jade hand and entered the space tunnel. Before leaving, he said, "Everyone, see you again if we are destined." Then he and Jinriksu disappeared in the secret realm. But the secret door did not close because of Xianyu's departure, but continued to open. Many disciples also entered the secret realm directly, regardless of where the space tunnel led to, because they completely believed in Xianyu. Seeing Xianyu leaving, Yanling also said, "Oh, brother Tianyu is gone, so let's leave too. I haven't breathed the outside air for a while." Zhang Wei, Ning Ming and others also nodded. Then several people stepped into the space tunnel and went back to their homes and mothers. Only Ziyan was left standing there. She hadn't been able to talk to Xianyu just now. She wanted to go forward. But after seeing the dazzling Jinriksu beside Xianyu, she stopped her steps. She didn't know why, seeing Xianyu and Jinriksu standing happily together, she didn't know why she felt a little uncomfortable in her heart. Just when Xianyu stepped into the space tunnel, she hadn't said a word to Xianyu. Just when she thought that after this separation, she might never have the chance to see Xianyu again. But Xianyu, who left, turned around and gave him a meaningful smile. How could Xianyu, the LS, not notice this pretty girl? He also recognized Xiao Ziyan as the purple-veiled woman, but because Jinriksu was there, he did not take the initiative to walk forward. Xiao Ziyan shook her head, telling herself not to think too much. She somehow sensed that she would definitely meet Xianyu again in the future. Then she gently put on the pretty purple veil, restored her usual cold and aloof senior sister appearance, and then stepped into the space tunnel. The space tunnel opened by Xianyu can teleport the entrant to the place in his mind. But most of the disciples were still teleported to the exit, because their respective sects were still waiting at the exit of the secret realm, and some were directly teleported back home, which was convenient and fast. After Xianyu and Jinriksu were the first to leave the secret realm gate, They also attracted the attention of all the people waiting at the secret realm gate. Isn't it time yet? How come someone came out? And why do these two people look so familiar? Said a sect elder who was waiting for his disciples to come out. Hey, isn't this the genius boy who opened the closed secret door with his bare hands half a month ago? Said an elder of the sect who was also waiting for his disciple to come out. It seems so. Last time the door was closed, he was able to go in. This time the door was not open and he came out. If you think about it carefully, there is nothing strange. Yes, that's right, but why does the woman next to this boy look so familiar? The eyes of the two elders of the sect who seemed to recognize Jin Ringsu also shrank sharply, and then they looked at each other and said, "Isn't this the saint of the spirit hall?" There are quite a few people who recognize Jin Ringsu, and they all saw Jin Ringsu's jade hand being held by Tianyu, and she looked very happy. Ning Fengzi, who was drinking tea not far away, saw this scene and put down the teacup that was already at his mouth. Then he said with a serious look, "Why is Tianyu holding the hand of the saint of the spirit hall? Uncle Gu, Uncle Jian, get ready for battle. I feel something is going to happen." Chapter 130, Demon Subduing Douluo Qianjin Douluo. As expected, less than a moment after Tianyu and Jin Ringsu left the secret realm, two figures emitting terrifying auras floated towards Tianyu and Jin Ringsu. Tianyu looked at them and saw that they were two young men with strange looks. One wore a black robe of the Elder Hall of the Spirit Hall and had long black hair. The other wore a white robe of the Elder Hall of the Spirit Hall and had long white hair. More importantly, both of them exuded the strength of a level 97 Super Douluo. After seeing their faces clearly, Jin Ringsu, who was held by Tianyu's hand, said, "Elder Qianjin, Elder Jiangmo." These two were the 6th and 7th worshippers of the Elder Hall of the Spirit Hall. Their spirits were both top-level spirits, dragon-patterned staff spirits, and their spirit powers were as high as the level 97 Super Douluo realm. Because they are brothers, they have special bond abilities that others don't have. They can also use super martial soul fusion skills, so the combined strength of the two is about the level 98 Super Douluo. Don't think that this is just a difference of one blow. Not everyone is a monster like the protagonist. In the duel between masters, this level of difference can often determine the outcome. Looking at Tianyu holding Jin Ringsu's hand, the two did not say anything. Their faces were still expressionless, and they just said lightly, "Saint, the Pope sent us to escort you back to the Wuhan Hall." This is the style of a big sect. They will not do Tianyu right away. They will take Jin Ringsu back first. As for Tianyu, they will deal with it later. After all, family disgrace cannot be made public, because there are not so many people watching at the scene at this time. Just when everyone thought that Tianyu would be sensible and hand over Jin Ringsu, even Ning Fengzi, who is not far away, thought that Tianyu would hand over Jin Ringsu because these two Super Douluos had given Tianyu a way out. If these two Super Douluos started fighting, few people on the scene would be able to stop them, and no one dared to stop the Spirit Hall from doing anything. But would Tianyu be afraid? Only the weak would be afraid. Tianyu patted Jin Ringsu's palm to comfort her. Then he pulled Jin Ringsu behind him, stepped forward, and confronted the two Super Douluos. Tianyu said, "I'm going to take Zuir away today. Let's see who dares to stop me." Tianyu's behavior directly scared many people present. An elder of a sect said, "Isn't this kid afraid of death? People have already given you a way out. Can't you just leave now? Why does he have to seek death? Alice, what a pity. He is a talented child, but he is too stubborn." That's right. These are two old guys, Jianglong and Qianjin. Let alone this teenager. Even if all of us titled Douluo present here come together, we may not be able to beat them. There are about 20 titled Douluos present from various sects this time, but there are only 3 Super Douluos. The only one with the highest level, level 98 Super Douluo, Mu Lao, has already left. After all, titled Douluos of this level rarely show up. It is rare for them to show up this time. Half a month has passed. How could they still be here? So at this time, the strong men present chose to sit and eat melons obediently, because they couldn't afford to fend the Spirit Hall. At this time, Ning Fengzi, who is not far away, was almost dying of anxiety, because Tianyu's behavior, which was purely seeking death in the eyes of others, scared him. He was making a choice between helping or not. If he helped Tianyu, It would mean that their 7 treasures glazed tile sect would offend the spirit hall. He couldn't joke about the lives of all the people in the 7 treasures glazed tile sect for Xianyu alone. But if he didn't help, he didn't want to, because if Xianyu was beaten to death, his precious daughter, Ning Rongrong, would definitely be sad. What's more, Xianyu was the son-in-law he chose. He couldn't watch Xianyu being beaten to death by the spirit hall, otherwise, Ning Rongrong would never forgive him for the rest of her life. Ning Fengzi said with a serious look in his eyes, "Uncle Jian, Uncle Gu." The sword Douluo and the bone Douluo behind Ning Fengzi also understood what Ning Fengzi meant and nodded. Looking at Xianyu, who didn't know how to live or die, the 2 super Douluos didn't intend to endure it. After all, they had given Xianyu a chance, but Xianyu was so ignorant. What's more, Xianyu said such pretentious words, which simply showed that he didn't take the 2 super strong men seriously, and even didn't take their Wuhan Hall seriously. You know, strong men are arrogant, so they can only beat Xianyu and bring him back to the Wuhan Hall. The terrifying soul power of the 2 men was instantly radiated. Seeing that the 2 strong men were about to suppress Xianyu, the elders of other sects also hurriedly took their disciples who had already come out to distance. In this level of battle, they couldn't resist a casual blow. At this time, Yan Ling, who had just come out, also saw this scene and said excitedly, "Fuck, brother Xianyu is too awesome. He just came out and wanted to fight 2 peerless strong men. I admit defeat." "Young Master Yan, do you know that young man?" a red-haired middle-aged man with a calm breath said. Yan Ling said proudly, "Of course I know him, he is my eldest brother." "Young Master, why do you recognize such a person as your eldest brother?" the middle-aged man said puzzledly. Yan Ling shook his finger in an unfathomable manner and said, "No, elder, you don't understand how powerful brother Xianyu is. Let me be frank. In the spirit world, we were besieged by several 100,000-year-old soul beasts. If Xianyu hadn't defeated them all, I wouldn't have come out today. Brother Xianyu is my savior." "Really?" Seeing his young master praising Xianyu to the sky, the middle-aged man was also skeptical. Just when Yan Ling wanted to produce some evidence, a voice rang out. "Huh? Why is it so lively when I just came out? Who else could this voice be except Zhang Wei?" As soon as Zhang Wei finished asking, he saw the scene not far away and saw Xianyu. Then he was as excited as Yan Ling. "Fuck. Is that brother Xianyu?" Yan Ling said, "You are not mistaken, it is brother Xianyu." Seeing that Zhang Wei seemed to know Xianyu, the middle-aged man next to Yan Ling also asked, "Young Master Zhang Wei, do you know that boy too?" "Nonsense, that's my eldest brother. If he wasn't my eldest brother, Yan Ling and I would have been in there today." If only Yan Ling said it, he might not believe it, but since even Zhang Wei said it, he couldn't help but believe it. If Xianyu is really the lifesaver of their young master, then this is a big problem. The red-haired middle-aged man said, "Master Yan, should we help your benefactor?" Yan Ling waved his hand and said, "Don't bother my brother Yan, just sit and watch my brother perform. If you go up, you will only cause trouble for my brother." The red-haired middle-aged man thought about it and sat down. He only had a soul power level of 92. To be honest, if he went up to fight with those 2, he would only be killed in seconds. It would be better for him to just watch the show. If Xianyu was really as powerful as his master said, he really didn't need to take action. Chapter 131 Sword Douluo and Bone Douluo appear. Just when Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo were about to cripple Xianyu, 2 equally powerful and terrifying soul powers came from not far away. Soon, they appeared in front of Xianyu. One of them was wearing a snow-white robe, with long silver-white hair, and a handsome face like a baby, with a very indifferent expression. He was just standing there, but he still gave others the feeling that he was the only one in the world. The other had long black hair, was also handsome, and was wearing a black and blue robe. The whole person gave people a sense of stability and strength. If you look closely, you will find that the combination of the 2 looks a bit like Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong. The 2 were Jian Douluo and Gu Douluo, and Ning Fengzi appeared in front of Xianyu along with Jian Douluo and Gu Douluo. It's just that he was standing next to Xianyu, because he was only an auxiliary soul master, and it was not convenient to stand too far in front. Seeing Ning Fengzi appear was something Xianyu didn't expect, because he didn't think he was that familiar with Ning Fengzi, and he had only met him a few times. Unexpectedly, this time he was willing to help him at the risk of offending the spirit hall. In fact, Regardless of whether Jian Douluo and Gu Douluo would take action, Xianyu would remember their willingness to support Xianyu. Ning Fengzi gave him a reassuring look, which probably meant, Xiao Ocean, don't panic. Leave this matter to your Uncle Ning. Xianyu thought for a while and nodded without moving, because he wanted to see to what extent Ning Fengzi was willing to help him. When Jian Douluo and Gu Douluo appeared, Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo recognized them at first sight. After all, they were old acquaintances. They were all famous strong men on the mainland. Jianglong Douluo and Qianjin Douluo were a famous brother combination on the mainland, and Jian Douluo and Gu Douluo were also a famous good friend combination on the mainland. The strength of the four was still the strength of the 97th level Super Douluo, and they were all super strong men admired by thousands of people on the mainland. Qianjin Douluo said, "It's been a long time since we last met, Jiandao Chengsen." Jian Douluo said indifferently, "It's been a long time since we last met. Why? Do you want to stand up for this kid?" Qianjin Douluo said, "Xiao Ocean is a friend of mine, Liao Gu's precious granddaughter. Give Liao Gu and me face and let this matter go." Jian Douluo said, "Chengsen, you are making it very difficult for us two brothers. You know, we are now members of the Spirit Hall. This kid didn't give face to our Spirit Hall in front of so many people. We have to act impartially, unless..." Then Qianjin Douluo also gave Jian Douluo a look that you know what he meant. Jian Douluo certainly knew what this look meant. If they let Xianyu go like this, they would not only lose their face, but also the face of the Spirit Hall. But if Jian Douluo and Gu Douluo fought with them, they would let Xianyu go. This way, not only would they not lose the face of the Spirit Hall, but they could also find a suitable reason to let Xianyu go. "Okay, in that case, we old friends have no choice but to fight," Sword Douluo said. Then he also gave Bone Douluo a look. Then the two of them burst out with terrifying soul power. "Haha, we two brothers haven't sparred with you for many years. Today, let's go back to the feeling of the past," Dragon Douluo said. Then he and Qianjin Douluo also burst out with terrifying soul power. 9 bright soul rings instantly floated on the bodies of Dragon Douluo and Qianjin Douluo. The soul rings of the two were yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, 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 red, and red. 2 long stick-shaped martial spirits also quickly appeared in their hands. The stick was more than 2 meters long, black and red in color, and the stick was covered with dragon-shaped patterns that exuded powerful dragon power. A weapon spirit has the might of a dragon clan. This is similar to Xianyu's magic dragon blue silver grass. Xianyu's plant spirit has the blood of the dragon clan, while the dragon pattern stick spirits of Jianglong Douluo and Qianjin Douluo have the might of a dragon clan spirit on the weapon spirit. In fact, it is not strange for a spirit to appear in this situation. On the contrary, it is very powerful. Otherwise, Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo would not have reached the level of 97, which is a realm that ordinary people cannot reach in their entire lives. Jian Douluo also directly activated his spirit. I saw that 9 shining spirit rings rose on Jian Douluo and Gu Douluo. They were also configured the same as Jianglong Douluo, all yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, 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 red, and red. A silver-white blue long sword was also instantly condensed in Jian Douluo's hand. The sword is 4 feet and 3 inches long, 3 inches wide, and the handle is 1 foot and 2 inches long. The overall look is a very handsome silver blue long sword, and the sword body is also emitting blue light, which looks very dazzling. A huge dragon-shaped phantom began to condense behind Bone Douluo. Then, a handsome bone dragon with a skeleton and blue light all over its body appeared behind Bone Douluo. Brother Tian is really powerful. It only took a short while for 4 super Douluos to fight for him. Yan Ling said. Yan, do you think that Jianglong Douluo and Qianjin Douluo are more powerful, or Jian Douluo and Bone Douluo are more powerful? Zhang Wei asked. Nonsense, Jian Douluo and Bone Douluo are on the side of our eldest brother, so of course Jian Douluo and Bone Douluo are more powerful. Yan Ling said. That's right, that's right. Zhang Wei also nodded in agreement. Just as this person was concentrating on looking up, a figure also sounded, saying, "Huh? What's going on so lively?" The person who spoke was Ning Ming, who had just come out of the secret realm. Ning Ming, come and see, 4 super Douluos are fighting for our brother Tian. Yan Ling said. Really? Then I'll have to take a good look. But when he saw the two people in the sky clearly, he was dumbfounded. Grandpa Bone and Grandpa Sword. Oh my god, he was originally watching the show, but it turned out that two of the four people fighting were his grandfathers, and his father was also among them, although he did not fight. Fuck. Yanling, Zhang Wei, can you tell me what's going on? Oh, nothing. Yanling said while eating the potato chips in his hand, looking like he was watching a show. Then tell me. Ningming wanted to beat Yanling up. It was his family that was in trouble. Is this how you should be a good brother? After Yanling threw another potato chip into the air, he continued, didn't our brother Yan pick up Sister Zuir? The spirit hall must be disgusted, so they asked two super Douluos to take our Sister Zuir away. They even threatened that if Big Brother Tianyu didn't know what was good for him, they would break our brother Yan's legs. Yanling also exaggerated. And then? Ningming asked anxiously. Ningming said, can't you get to the point? What I care about is why our 7 treasures glazed tile sect got involved. Book Friends Group. 100,861,943 Join the group to urge for updates. Please join the group. Chapter 132 Sword Douluo Bone Douluo vs 1000 Douluo Dragon Douluo. In fact, it was Jianglong Douluo and Qianjin Douluo who wanted to suppress Brother Yan, but before Brother Yan could teach them a lesson, your Kabeoli sect helped Brother Tian. In fact, you don't have to worry at all. Anyway, Brother Yan is here, what are you afraid of? Yanling patted Ningming on the shoulder and said. Alice. Then Ningming could only sit down with Yanling and others helplessly. The perspective turned to the battle scene. Qianjin Douluo also directly held the dragon pattern stick and swung it at Jian Douluo. The attack with terrifying pure power also hit Jian Douluo directly. Jian Douluo stepped back slightly, then clenched the 7 killing swords in his hand and hit the dragon pattern stick swung by Qianjin Douluo. After this attack, Jian Douluo also stepped back many steps. His sword mainly talks about skills and agility, and frontal attacks are still not as good as the dragon pattern stick, a close combat martial spirit with super high burst. I saw a black soul ring floating from Jian Douluo's body in an instant. 5th soul skill, shocking all directions. The 7 killing sword in Jian Douluo's hand instantly burst into dazzling light, and along with the light, the terrifying energy gathered in Jian Douluo's sword. Then Jian Douluo also slashed with a sword. A silver-blue sword energy that shocked all directions also slashed directly at Qianjin Douluo. Facing the slashing blow, Qianjin Douluo's face remained normal, and a black soul ring floated from his body slowly. 5th soul skill, dragon pattern roar. Then, the dragon pattern stick that Qianjin Douluo held tightly in his hand emitted a series of deafening dragon roars, and along with the fierce dragon roars, there was also the terrifying energy. A dragon-shaped phantom also instantly appeared on the dragon pattern stick in Qianjin Douluo's hand. Qianjin Douluo waved the dragon pattern stick in his hand and directly met the sword slash by Jian Douluo. The two terrifying soul skills hit each other, directly producing a terrifying soul power explosion. The soul power fluctuations that spread out were also transmitted to the people watching the show 10,000 meters away. Is this a battle between strong men? Yanling said. Well, why do I feel that Jian Douluo and Qianjin Douluo are stronger than the King Kong Dragon Emperor in the secret realm? Zhang Wei said. No doubt, Grandpa Jian's real strength is stronger than King Kong Dragon Emperor. Ningming said. They should be about the same strength. Yanling said while eating the potato chips in his hand. Yanling is not wrong. King Kong Dragon Emperor's age level is about 700,000, which is equivalent to the 98th level of human title Douluo. And the real strength of a high-quality super Douluo like Jian Douluo should also be able to reach the level of 98, so Jian Douluo's real strength should be about the same as King Kong Dragon Emperor, or even a little stronger than King Kong Dragon Emperor. Bai Changqing, who had also come out of the secret realm, said. A sword genius like him must know Jian Douluo, and the two even have a certain blood relationship. He is also a person who knows Jian Douluo's combat power. And he has always regarded Jian Douluo as a senior to learn from. He wanted to see the battle of Jian Douluo, a strong man who has practiced swordsmanship to the extreme, a long time ago. Today is just what he wants. Yanling patted Bai Changqing on the shoulder and said, Old Bai, I forgot that you are also a swordsman. You know more. Bai Changqing ignored Yanling and watched the battle in the field intently. It is rare to see a battle between peerless masters like this, so he must seize the opportunity to learn it well. The screen returned to the battle scene. After 2 attacks, neither of them hurt each other. Just as Bon Douluo was watching the battle between Qianjin Douluo and Jian Douluo, a powerful stick was also swung directly at him. Fortunately, the speed was not fast, and Bon Douluo dodged it with a special force. Bon Douluo looked and found that it was the Dragon Douluo who attacked him. Dragon Douluo said, "Old Bone, don't just watch, we will come too." Then he waved the dragon pattern stick in his hand directly at Bon Douluo. Facing the attacking Dragon Douluo, Bon Douluo was not afraid at all. The Bone Dragon martial spirit directly possessed him. Bon Douluo's figure also rose directly, and his body was instantly covered with a layer of blue bone armor, emitting blue light. Bone dragon horns also emerged from his head. A pair of fists also turned into bony blue dragon claws, and a layer of blue bone gauntlets appeared on his arms. Facing the stick swung by Dragon Douluo, Bon Douluo directly stretched out a dragon claw to block. The stick hit Bon Douluo's gauntlet directly. The ancient dragon martial spirit is a well-known martial spirit with high defense. So Dragon Douluo's attack did not cause any damage to Bon Douluo. Instead, Bon Douluo, who resisted the attack, directly hit Dragon Douluo's abdomen with a backhand attack. Dragon Douluo, who was attacked, also began to retreat quickly. Dragon Douluo touched the place where he was hid and said, "You are much stronger than a few years ago." "You too," Bon Douluo said lightly. "Go on." After saying that, Dragon Douluo continued to wave the dragon pattern stick in his hand and attacked Bon Douluo. A purple soul ring floated from his body. 4th soul skill, Dragon Pattern Wave. A strange wave condensed in Dragon Douluo's dragon pattern stick. This wave gradually condensed into dragon shape. Then Dragon Douluo swung directly, and a dragon-shaped wave carrying a terrifying explosive force also bombarded Bon Douluo. Facing this attack, Bon Douluo was a little more serious. A purple soul ring also floated from his body. 4th soul skill, Bone Dragon Swallowing. After the soul ring rose, a blue energy also condensed in Bon Douluo's fist. The blue energy gradually condensed into dragon shape and wrapped around Bon Douluo's right arm. Then Bon Douluo threw a punch directly, and the punch wrapped with blue dragon-shaped energy also bombarded the dragon pattern wave attacked by Dragon Douluo. But when the dragon pattern wave touched the blue energy on Bon Douluo's fist, it was instantly swallowed up. The power of space. Xianyu looked at Gu Douluo who used this move. If Xianyu was not mistaken, the principle of this move was to use the power of space to transmit the soul skill attack of Jianglong Douluo to another space. Seeing that the move was easily resolved by Gu Douluo, Jianglong Douluo also said, "Let's do this, we will decide the winner with one strike. If you can take it, we won't fight." Gu Douluo also nodded. He also wanted to end the battle quickly. Then a black soul ring floated from Jianglong Douluo's body. 6th soul skill, Dragon Pattern Shocking Heaven Stick. Why did Jianglong Douluo use the 6th soul skill instead of the 8th and 9th soul skills? Because they didn't really want to fight. But he used the excuse of fighting to let Xianyu go, and gave face to the 2 old friends Jian Douluo and Gu Douluo. They didn't seem to be fighting, but more like a competition between old friends. So they just stopped at that point. It's even more impossible to use the big killer move, the 8th and 9th soul skills. If people of their level use this level of soul skills, it would be a real fight, not a competition. Book Friends Group. 100,861,943. Join the group to urge for more updates. Please join the group. Chapter 133. Beat them up. After the spirit ring rose, a dazzling light shone on the dragon patterned stick of Dragon Douluo. There was a loud noise in the sky. A beam of energy descended from the sky and attached to the dragon patterned stick of Dragon Douluo. Then Dragon Douluo also swung a powerful energy-attached blow to Bon Douluo. In the sky, thunder was still booming. The famous skill, the dragon patterned heaven shaking stick. Bon Douluo said lightly after seeing Dragon Douluo use this move. Then I will also use the skill that made me famous back then. Bon Douluo said. Then a black spirit ring also rose quickly from his body. The 6th spirit skill, Bone Dragon God Sky Wave. The moment the spirit ring rose, Bon Douluo's momentum suddenly soared. A blue energy also gathered in his hands. A dragon-shaped phantom gradually condensed, and the thunder in the sky was also booming. Then Bon Douluo punched out, and the dragon-shaped energy light wave also bombarded Dragon Douluo who was smashing towards him. The 2 attacks that could resonate with the sky also directly bombarded each other. After the violent energy light wave disappeared, the two people who were at peace were revealed. In this fight, the two fought to a draw again. Seeing that this attack still failed to hurt Gu Douluo, Zhenglong Douluo also directly put away his dragon pattern stick martial spirit and stopped attacking. Their sparring was over, but Jian Douluo and Qianjin Douluo's side was obviously not over yet. The two were still fighting fiercely in the sky. But they used some low-level soul skills and did not use big moves. Jian Douluo and Qianjin Douluo fought again in space. Qianjin Douluo said, "Let's decide the winner with one blow like my brother-in-law Gu." Jian Douluo nodded after hearing it and said, "Okay." Then a black soul ring rose from Qianjin Douluo's body. Sixth soul skill, go all out. The moment the soul ring rose, Qianjin Douluo's dragon pattern stick also burst out with powerful energy. Qianjin Douluo grabbed the dragon pattern stick and threw it at Jian Douluo. The dragon pattern stick was stabbing forward rapidly in the air, and the flying dragon pattern stick also made bursts of explosions in the air. The attack power and explosive power were so strong that they were unstoppable. Facing this attack, Jian Douluo also looked serious, and a black soul ring slowly rose from his body. Sixth soul skill, 10,000 swords returned to the clan. The moment the soul ring rose, Jian Douluo's 7 killing swords were suspended in front of him. Jian Douluo's sword eyes lit up, and the 7 killing swords also transformed into 10, 100, and 1,000 swords at an extremely fast speed. In the end, it transformed into 10,000 flying swords. Each flying sword contained terrifying sword intent and power. Looking at the attack made by Jian Douluo, all the people present with sword martial spirits felt that their martial spirits were trembling and felt resonance. "What a strong attack," said Bai Changqing, who is beside Yan Ling. "They are both the 6th soul skills. Why can't his 6th soul skill be as powerful and handsome as Jian Douluo's?" Ning Ming, who felt the emotions in Bai Changqing's eyes, also said, "Brother Bai, you don't have to be envious. Your future soul skills will definitely be as handsome and powerful as Grandpa Jian's soul skills. What you lack now is only time and practice." Bai Changqing also nodded silently. He believed that he could also achieve the same realm as Jian Douluo, or even surpass Jian Douluo. He, Bai Changqing, is the most outstanding disciple of their sword god sect in the past 1,000 years, and one of the most promising geniuses to become a god on the future. This level of moves is indeed not a difficult task for him in the future. He is now better than 99.99% of the sword martial soul masters on the mainland, so there is no need to be anxious. In the battle scene, Jian Douluo waved his sword finger, and the 10,000 flying swords also flew directly towards the stick that was stabbed. Jian Douluo's attack looked very handsome and bluffing, but Qianjin Douluo's desperate gamble was not simple at all. After a while, the 10,000 flying swords also collided with a dragon pattern stick thrown by Qianjin Douluo. At the moment when the two moves collided, most of the 10,000 flying swords were defeated by the terrifying dragon pattern stick. The 10,000 flying swords of Wanji and Gizan were all blown up by the terrifying energy as soon as they touched the dragon pattern, turning into dots of soul power starlight. But the dragon pattern stick was not so unstoppable. After defeating the last flying sword, it could not withstand the energy and exploded directly. Qianjin Douluo's desperate soul skill mainly deals with single target burst damage, and all the energy is concentrated on one point. And Jian Douluo's Wanji and Gizan mainly deals with range damage, and all the energy is dispersed on the 10,000 flying swords. But after this attack, neither of them could hurt the other. In this fight, the two were tied again. It seems that the strength of the two is indeed equal. But from the strength of the two, we can see how strong the strength of the Spirit Hall is. Jian Dao Chenzin is already one of the strongest in the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile sect, but Jinjun Douluo, whose strength can only be ranked around 10th in the Spirit Hall, can fight to draw. It is conceivable how powerful the masters in the Spirit Hall will be. This is also the reason why the two brothers Jinjun Douluo and Zhanglong Douluo chose the Spirit Hall. After seeing this blow tie again, Jinjun Douluo smiled slightly and said, "Oh, so many years of training have been in vain. I still fought a tie with you." Then he also put away the dragon pattern stick spirit in his hand and turned around and said, "Brother, let's go." Then Jian Douluo and Gu Douluo also put away their spirits. "Ah, is it over? I haven't seen enough," Yan Ling said. "I haven't seen enough either," Zhang Wei said. Just when everyone thought that this matter was over, Tianyu slowly spoke and said, "Did I let you go?" After Tianyu spoke, everyone present was shocked. But everyone obviously thought differently. Yanling said, haha, I knew that Brother Tian would not do anything. Another person said, is this guy a fool? Sword Douluo and Bone Douluo have already come forward to save his life, why is he still so ungrateful? That's right, he doesn't really think that Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo left because they were afraid of him, right? Said one person. Alice, who did the 7 treasures glazed tile sect save? Such an ungrateful person will only harm the 7 treasures glazed tile sect. A titled Douluo elder of the sect said. That's right, the 2 strong men were able to leave like this, which was already a face-saving gesture to Sword Douluo and Bone Douluo, but he was still so ungrateful. This, Xia Ocean. Ning Fengzi was also a little confused at this time. He didn't know why Xianyu did this. He had clearly felt that Xianyu was not the kind of person who didn't know what was good for him. Ning Fengzi was about to say something, but Xianyu said directly, Uncle Ning, just leave it to me. I will remember your kindness to the 7 treasures glazed tile sect. It is impossible for Xianyu to let Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo leave today. They said they were leaving today, but Xianyu could not guarantee that they would not let other people continue to trouble him after they returned. He still wanted to live a happy life with Zuir quietly without being disturbed. But the best way to prevent them from letting other people from the spirit hall continue to disturb him after they returned was to beat them up. Chapter 134 The 9-killing sword martial spirit appears. Xianyu walked forward directly. When passing by Jian Douluo and Gu Douluo, they still wanted to dissuade him. Xianyu raised his hand and said, Uncle Jian, Uncle Gu, I appreciate your kindness, but I still like to solve my own problems by myself. Seeing the seriousness and confidence in Xianyu's eyes, Jian Douluo and Gu Douluo could only reluctantly step aside. At most, they would wait for the 2 of them to continue to attack. They couldn't just watch Xianyu being beaten up. It was estimated that their precious granddaughter would hate their 2 grandfathers at that time. They knew how much Ning Rongrong liked Xianyu. It started, my brother Tian is going to show off. Yanling said excitedly. I'm so excited when I think about these 2 level 97 super Douluo strongmen being beaten up by our eldest brother. Zhang Wei said. Seeing his master and Zhang Wei praising Xianyu so much, the middle-aged red-haired titled Douluo was a little confused. Because no matter how he looked at it, he could only see that Xianyu was an ordinary person who looked a little handsome, and his soul power was well hidden, without any diffusion. This also made it impossible for him to check Xianyu's soul power level, but he predicted that he shouldn't be that powerful at this age. Hearing Xianyu's arrogant words, Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo also turned around. This time, they thought that they would beat Xianyu once no matter what. But what they didn't know was that Xianyu also wanted to beat them once. Qianjin Douluo stood with his hands behind his back and said, Boy, you are very unconvinced. No, it's not that I am unconvinced. If it weren't for Senior Jian and Senior Gu who took action just now, I would have beaten you up. Xianyu said in a flat tone. It seemed that beating up 2 level 97 super Douluo strongmen was a very common thing in his eyes. Seeing Xianyu being so arrogant, Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo were also amused. Qianjin Douluo said, Boy, you. But before he finished speaking, Xianyu released his momentum. Feeling Xianyu's momentum, Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo's eyes also became serious, because after they felt this momentum, they knew that Xianyu must be extraordinary. Xianyu said arrogantly, Stop talking nonsense, I'm going to beat you 2 to pieces today. Then Xianyu's mind moved, and the 9-killing sword martial soul also broke out of his body and floated behind him. As soon as the 9-killing sword martial soul appeared, all the martial souls in the body of the people with sword martial souls present also broke out of their bodies, uncontrolled by them, and worshipped in the direction of Xianyu. Even the sword martial souls of the ceiling of Douluo like Jian Douluo and Bai Changqing all broke out of their bodies and worshipped Xianyu's 9-killing sword martial soul. Even if it was not a sword martial soul, but a weapon martial soul within the scope of weapon martial soul, it was also affected by Xianyu's 9-killing sword martial soul. What happened? Why is my white emperor sword out of my control? And what kind of martial soul does Xianyu have? Why does it give people such a powerful feeling? Bai Changqing said tremblingly. What the hell? The boss actually has twin martial souls. Yanling was so shocked that the potato chips fell to the ground. And the boss's 2 martial souls are both extremely powerful god-level martial souls? This is really awesome. Zhang Wei said excitedly. The martial soul that Tianyu showed in the secret realm just now was the god-level dragon martial soul, and now he has shown the god-level sword martial soul. How much has Tianyu hidden? Ning Ming said. Feeling the pressure emanating from Tianyu's martial soul, Jian Douluo was also surprised and said, I didn't expect Zai Ocean to be a god-level martial soul owner, and a super rare god-level sword martial soul owner. That's right, I didn't expect Tianyu to hide so deeply. Bone Douluo said. Because his martial soul is not a sword martial soul, he was not affected by Tianyu's 9-killing sword martial soul. Feeling the pressure from Tianyu's 9-killing sword, Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo were also quite shocked. Because their top weapon spirit, the dragon pattern stick, was also affected by Tianyu's weapon spirit. This was definitely a god-level spirit. What they didn't know was that Tianyu's 9-killing sword was a super god-level spirit, and it was several levels higher than the god-level spirit. Qianjin Douluo said, I didn't expect you to be a god-level spirit. We now admit that you are worthy of our spirit hall saint, but you are still too arrogant, so we still have to teach you a lesson and let you know the gap between the levels. In their eyes, Tianyu, who released the god-level spirit, was already qualified to be worthy of their saint, but because Tianyu is too arrogant, they had to teach Tianyu a lesson. Tianyu just said lightly, let's fight. Then the 9-killing sword spirit possessed him. Tianyu held the 9-killing sword in his hand, and the momentum of his whole body began to surge wildly. The black hair slowly turned into long silver-white flowing hair. The pair of black pupils also turned into silver-white 9-killing sword pupils. With a silver-white sword robe, Xianjiao looked like a living sword immortal. Xianyu's fairy-like appearance instantly fascinated a large number of female disciples. Even Jinring Su, who was behind Xianyu, blushed slightly when she saw Xianyu's handsome appearance. Fuck. Brother Tian's martial spirit is too handsome. I want it too. Yanling said. Woo woo woo. The same person is a weapon martial spirit. Why is Brother Tian's martial spirit so handsome after being possessed? And why is my golden holy axe martial spirit like an 18 bronze man after being possessed? Zhang Wei cried. Ha ha ha, Zhang Wei, are you trying to make me laugh to death? Yanling laughed. It's really handsome. Why do I, a man, feel moved after seeing it? After Ningming finished speaking, Leon blushed. Ningming didn't expect you to be this kind of person. I still treat you as a brother. I will never go to the bathhouse with you again. And you dare to catch the attention of Brother Xianyu. Yanling said. Yanling, your brother, go to hell. I was just joking. Ningming cursed. No matter what you say, I will never go to the bathhouse with you again, you have the Jedi attribute. Yanling said meanly. Ningming was so angry with Yanling. He was obviously a normal man, but he still endured it because he was just an auxiliary spirit master and couldn't beat Yanling. The scene returned to the battle scene. Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo exchanged glances. Then Jianglong Douluo walked out and said, I'll play with you and let you recognize the power of Super Douluo. Xianyu didn't reply, but just clenched the sword in his hand, and then slashed it. A terrifying silver-white sword energy slashed Jianglong Douluo. Facing this flying sword energy, Jianglong Douluo looked calm and immediately waved the dragon pattern stick in his hand to resist. Jianglong Douluo waved the Jianglong stick in his hand and directly blocked Tianyu's silver-white sword energy. Jianglong Douluo and Qianjin Douluo, each of them is much stronger than the King Kong Dragon King that Tianyu is fighting. They have more familiar fighting skills and mentality than the King Kong Dragon King, and will not attack mindlessly like the King Kong Dragon King. Without opening the super god level, it is still a bit difficult for Tianyu to defeat 2 such high-quality level 97 Super Douluos. But this is not difficult for Tianyu. If he retreats just because of 2 Super Douluos, how can he continue to become stronger in the future? So he has to face the difficulties and train himself. Not being able to defeat himself will only make him stronger. Book Friends Group 100,861,943 Join the group to urge for more. Please join the group. Chapter 135, The Long-Lost Grandson? A silver light flashed in Xianyu's silver-white sword pupil. Xianyu's figure disappeared instantly. The next moment, he appeared in front of Qianjin Douluo and swung his sword. Qianjin Douluo obviously didn't expect Xianyu's speed to be so fast. But he was not a pushover. When the sword was about to pierce him, he quickly swung the dragon-patterned stick in his hand to block the sword. Seeing that his sword was blocked by Qianjin Douluo, Tianyu said, "My sword is not that simple." Then the sword body of the 9-killing sword instantly burst into a strong silver-white light. A silver-white sword energy directly passed through the dragon-patterned stick in Qianjin Douluo's hand and directly slashed Qianjin Douluo's body. Qianjin Douluo, who was hit, also retreated quickly and distanced himself from Tianyu. "Brother, be careful, this kid's strength is definitely not simple," Jianglong Douluo behind Qianjin Douluo said. Qianjin Douluo said, "I know." At first, Qianjin Douluo only thought that Qianjin Yu's true form was probably that of a Soul Douluo, but after the actual fight, he realized that Tianyu's strength was at least at the Super Douluo level. This terrifying combat power is already stronger than the saint of their spirit hall, Jinriksu. You have to know that Tianyu is only in his teens in the eyes of Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo, and in his teens, he already has the strength that old monsters like them have to practice for nearly 100 years. So no matter whether Tianyu wins or loses this game, he is already a genius who is better than their saint in the eyes of Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo. Because even a genius as strong as their saint can only be defeated in 2 moves when facing opponents of their level. But Tianyu can fight him with ease, which can prove the strength of Tianyu's talent and strength. Qianjin Douluo adjusted his posture and said, "Okay, kid, I admit that you are very strong, but you are still too young to defeat a senior like me." Then a red light flashed in Qianjin Douluo's eyes and he said, "Because I am serious." As soon as the words fell, a dazzling red light burst out from Qianjin Douluo's body. Qianjin body. Jian Douluo, who saw this scene not far away, also said, "Grandpa Jian, what is the Qianjin body?" Ning Ming, who had returned to the 7 Treasures glazed tile sect, asked. Jian Douluo also explained, "The Qianjin body is the top physique that Qianjin Douluo has possessed since birth. His younger brother also has the dragon subduing body, both of which are top physiques. After the Qianjin body is activated, Qianjin Douluo's soul strength, power, speed, and defense will be enhanced by a level. It is a very powerful physique. Just like your grandpa Jian, my 7-killing sword body." Ning Ming also nodded as if he understood. "I didn't expect Xia Ocean to be able to make Qianjin use his Qianjin body. Xia Ocean was hiding too deeply before." Bone Douluo said. "Yes." Sword Douluo also nodded in agreement. Sword Douluo looked at Tianyu meaningfully. He didn't know why he could sense the feeling of the 7-killing sword from Tianyu's sword martial soul. A very familiar feeling. He was sure that Tianyu's sword martial soul was definitely related to his 7-killing sword martial soul, although Tianyu's martial soul was much stronger than his 7-killing sword. Is Xia Ocean my long-lost grandson? But the problem is that I don't even have a girlfriend? I don't even have a son, so where can I get a grandson? Sword Douluo thought to himself. On this side of the battle scene, Qianjin Douluo waved the dragon pattern stick in his hand, and a soul ring rose from his feet. Soul skill, Qianjin explosion. The moment the soul ring rose, the dragon pattern stick in Qianjin Douluo's hand also flashed a red light. Then Qianjin Douluo rushed forward and waved the dragon pattern stick in his hand to hit Tianyu. Facing the serious Qianjin Douluo, Tianyu also took it a little more seriously. A black soul ring also rose from his feet. 9 killing sword styles, shattering style. The moment the soul ring rose, a dazzling silver-white sword light shone on Tianyu's 9 killing sword. Then Tianyu also slashed with a sword. A silver-white sword energy collided with a dragon pattern stick that Qianjin Douluo smashed at a very fast speed. The 2 attacks collided and directly produced a huge explosion. After the soul power fluctuations dissipated, the figures of the 2 people were also revealed. At this time, Tianyu was fine. But at this time, Qianjin Douluo's clothes were shattered by Tianyu's shattering sword, and there were even a few bloodstains on his body. Feeling the injuries on his body, Qianjin Douluo did not speak. He just quickly tore off the shattered clothes on his body, revealing his upper body that was forged to be as strong as steel. Qianjin Douluo once again clinched the dragon pattern stick and attacked Tianyu. This time the speed was obviously much faster than before, and the people present could only see a red afterimage. Facing Qianjin Douluo who was attacking him quickly, Tianyu was still calm. Tianyu waved the 9 killing sword in his hand and played a beautiful sword flower, and then slashed with a sword. A silver-white sword energy also flew quickly in the air and shot directly at Qianjin Douluo, who was rushing towards him. Facing the sword energy, Qianjin Douluo did not dodge at all. He directly grasped the dragon pattern stick in his hand and swung it out, directly smashing the sword energy that was shot. After a sword energy missed, Tianyu continued to wave the 9-killing sword in his hand. Then several silver-white sword energy slashed directly at Qianjin Douluo, who was rushing with the stick. Facing several more sword energy that continued to fly, Qianjin Douluo still did not dodge. Instead, he continued to wave the dragon pattern stick in his hand quickly to smash several silver-white sword energy. But this time he obviously couldn't smash the sword energy that Tianyu slashed so easily. When Qianjin Douluo appeared again, his upper body was also covered with several sword marks. The reason why Qianjin Douluo was so persistent in wanting to get close to Tianyu was because he knew that he had to get close to Tianyu to defeat him. His dragon-patterned stick could only exert its true strength in close combat. However, Tianyu never got close to him, and always slashed out silver-white sword energy to attack her from a distance, which his dragon-patterned stick could not do. This made him very frustrated, so this is why he would rather resist Tianyu's sword energy a few more times and get close to Tianyu. But Tianyu obviously guessed Qianjin Douluo's idea. The melee burst of martial arts such as the dragon-patterned stick is very strong. It can be said that it is difficult to get away once you get stuck. In addition, his melee burst is definitely not comparable to Qianjin Douluo, and it is really easy to overturn if you get close to him. Tianyu gently put his hand on the hilt. Silver-white sword energy also began to gather on the sword body. 9-killing sword style, energy gathering slash. The silver-white sword energy gathered more and more on Tianyu's 9-killing sword, but he was not in a hurry to slash. He was waiting for Qianjin Douluo to hit the sword himself. After a while, Qianjin Douluo also appeared above Tianyu's head. Qianjin Douluo was naked from the waist up, holding the dragon pattern stick tightly and smashing it at Tianyu. If Tianyu was hit by a super Douluo like Qianjin Douluo who practiced body cultivation, he would definitely not feel good. But, would Tianyu let him hit him? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 136, 100,000-Year Spirit Ring. At this time, Tianyu's 9-killing energy slash had already gathered energy. The moment Qianjin Douluo came in front of Tianyu also slashed out with a sword. A blow that gathered powerful sword energy also slashed directly on Qianjin Douluo's body. Although Tianyu was also hit by Qianjin Douluo. But compared with the injury suffered by Qianjin Douluo, Tianyu's injury was much better. At this time, the figure of Qianjin Douluo, who was blasted 1,000 meters away by Tianyu's sword, slowly appeared. At this time, a long sword mark appeared on Qianjin Douluo's upper body, and blood was slowly overflowing from the sword mark. Even though he activated the defensive soul skill at that moment, he still felt very uncomfortable after being hit by Tianyu's sword. Seeing this, Zhenglong Douluo also said, "Brother, do you need me to help?" Jinjun Douluo wiped off the blood from the wound, shook his head and said, "Not yet, I haven't used my full strength yet." "Okay, big brother, you should use your full strength, this kid's sword energy is very strange." Zhenglong Douluo looked at the sword wound on Jinjun Douluo's body and said. Jinjun Douluo did not cause any harm to Tianyu, but his body was slashed by Tianyu's sword energy. If this spread out, where would Jinjun's face be? A super Douluo who has been famous for decades was beaten so badly by a teenager. The problem is that he has not caused any substantial damage to Tianyu. So he has to use his big move. He inserted the dragon pattern stick into the ground, and a black spirit ring slowly rose from under his feet. 7th spirit skill, Dragon Pattern True Body. At the moment the spirit ring rose, a dragon shadow also emerged from his dragon pattern stick. Qianjin Douluo's figure instantly rose taller, and a golden dragon pattern gradually appeared on his chest and back. A layer of golden light also appeared around him, and the dragon pattern stick martial spirit in his hand turned into dazzling golden color. But this is not over yet. A dazzling red soul ring also slowly rose from under his feet. The appearance of this red soul ring also caused the audience to exclaim, "It's a 100,000-year soul ring." Yanling said. Then Yanling asked the red-haired middle-aged man beside him, Elder Yan, do you have 100,000-year spirit ring? Hearing this question, Yanling also replied awkwardly, Young master, I don't have 100,000-year spirit ring. Ah. Elder Yan, you don't have 100,000-year spirit ring. The red-haired middle-aged man also thought, my young master, 100,000-year spirit ring is not so easy to get. Not to mention that there are so few 100,000-year soul beasts, and the strength of each one is at least title Douluo level. To hunt a 100,000-year soul beast is equivalent to defeating a title Douluo level strong man, and you have to kill him to get the spirit ring. Soul beasts that have lived for 100,000 years all have the ability to escape, so even if you can beat them, you can't kill them. Also, 100,000-year soul beasts are all highly intelligent soul beasts. They will call for help when they are in danger. At that time, a bunch of 100,000-year soul beasts will come to beat you up. This is why 100,000-year soul beasts are so difficult to obtain. It's not Yanling's fault that he didn't know. After all, for a genius like him who is extremely talented and has a high status in the sect, the new spirit rings of each realm are arranged. So he never worried about the problem of failure to fuse or not being able to find a suitable spirit ring. After all, talent and background are there. Yanling said, I heard from my father and the elders in the sect that my 8th spirit ring can fuse a 100,000-year-old spirit ring. The red-haired middle-aged man didn't say anything, but nodded silently. Yanling is one of the most talented disciples of their Yanshan sect in the past 1,000 years. He is one of the most promising geniuses to break through the 99-level limit Douluo in the future, so the sect also gave him the best resources. It can be said that the hope of becoming a god is placed on him. The reason why their Yanshan sect is called Yanshan sect is because someone became a god 10,000 years ago, but unfortunately, no one in their Yanshan sect has become a god for 10,000 years. If this continues, their Yanshan sect will sooner or later decline. The red-haired middle-aged man also sighed helplessly. He didn't know that Yanling recognized Tianyu as his big brother, and becoming a god on the future was inevitable. The 7 treasures glazed sect. When did Tianyu become so shameless? He even used his martial soul body and 100,000-year spirit ring to deal with a teenager. Bone Douluo said. Old Bone, you don't know the difficulty of Tianyu. Sword Douluo said. Oh? What do you think, little Jianjian? Bone Douluo said. Xia Ocean's martial soul is very special. The soul power on his sword is different from other martial souls. Did you see it? Tianju's body was only scratched once and a cut appeared. Don't you know the physical strength of Tianyu and Jianglong? Tianju's body can't even be broken by my sword energy so easily, but Xia Ocean's sword energy can do it very easily. Tianyu can't touch Xia Ocean, and he can't block it. If he doesn't open his martial soul true body and the 8th soul ring, he will probably be consumed by Xia Ocean's sword energy and lose. Xiao Jianjian, now that you put it that way, I seem to understand. Bone Douluo nodded. Is this the power of a god-level martial soul? Bone Douluo said. Bone Douluo was talking about the silver-white sword energy of Tianyu Jiasha's sword martial soul. This is the special soul power of a super god-level martial soul. Every super god-level martial soul has his own unique special soul power. The special soul power of Tianyu's 9-killing sword martial soul has the terrifying ability to break armor and ignore defense. Anyone who is cut by Tianyu's silver-white sword energy, no matter how abnormal your body is, it is nothing under the 9-killing sword energy. Under the super god-level martial soul, all beings are equal. It should be. Jian Douluo said. After all, he has never seen a god-level martial soul. But the martial soul effect of ignoring defense is also something he envies. Which sword-playing soul master does not want his sword energy to have this effect of ignoring defense? The screen returns to the battle scene. The moment the red soul ring rises, the dragon pattern stick in Tianyu Douluo's hand also bursts out with terrifying energy. It directly cracks the ground of several thousand meters. 8th soul skill, Earth Evil Purgatory Stick. At the moment Tianyu Douluo used his soul skill, the ground of 10,000 meters centered on him began to collapse. Then these boulders and gravel began to gather in his dragon pattern stick. And his dragon pattern stick was like a bottomless pit, absorbing these earth elements substances crazily. In just a short while, all the earth elements within a radius of 1 kilometer were absorbed and gathered in his dragon pattern stick. At this time, Qianjin Daoluo's dragon pattern stick also turned into yellowish-brown color, and it gathered the power of earth elements equivalent to hundreds of thousands of tons. Then Qianjin Daoluo also jumped on the spot and flew directly into the air. He tightly grasped the dragon pattern stick in his hand and smashed it directly at Tianyu, who was below. If Tianyu was hit by this stick, he would have to bear at least 1,000,000 tons of force. But was he panicking? No, he still looked calm. Facing the stick that was smashed down, Tianyu just slowly raised one hand. Book Friends Group. 100,861,943 Join the group to urge for more. Please join the group. Chapter 137 Chaos Bone God Dragon appears. At the moment when Qianjin Daoluo was about to hit Tianyu with a dragon patterned stick in his hand, a blue dragon-shaped martial spirit instantly appeared behind Tianyu. A blue special force also instantly ejected along Tianyu's arm. A shield formed by the blue special force instantly appeared and blocked in front of Tianyu. Then Tianyu stood there calmly in the face of danger, allowing Qianjin Daoluo's dragon patterned stick to hit him hard. Then Qianjin Daoluo's stick, which weighed 1,000,000 tons, also hit the blue shield in front of Tianyu hard. Even the blow weighing 1,000,000 tons was almost touching Tianyu's face, and was only blocked by a thin layer of special force. But Tianyu was not panicked at all. Even if the next moment the blow weighing 1,000,000 tons would hit his handsome face, he was still not panicked at all, and he didn't even blink, because he had absolute confidence in his special force. Qianjin Daoluo was a little surprised to see that his 8th soul skill was blocked by something in front of Tianyu. Then he increased the strength in his hands, and the veins on his hands were bulging, as if the blood vessels inside were about to burst. But his dragon pattern stick was still blocked by this thin layer of space power, and it did not move at all. Qianjin Daoluo was really numb now. Just when Qianjin Daoluo was relaxed, Tianyu instantly released the space power, and then summoned the Bone Dragon Martial Soul. A space fire instantly condensed in his hands, and then he swung it out. A blow carrying hundreds of thousands of tons of gravity and space power directly hammered Qianjin Daoluo's face. Qianjin Daoluo was directly hammered out 10,000 meters away by Tianyu's blow, and he stopped after knocking down many mountains in a row. Obviously, he was stunned by Tianyu's blow. Is this the power of space? Seeing the space shield that Tianyu had just used, Bone Daoluo was also shocked. Old Bone, is the only thing you noticed about the force of space? Did you notice that Xiao Ocean has twin martial spirits? Jian Daoluo said, looking at the Chaos Bone Dragon behind Tianyu, which was covered in space fire. Xiao Jianjian, I saw it. Such a strong pressure and momentum, it is undoubtedly another god-level martial spirit. Bone Daoluo said. I heard the little princess say that Xiao Ocean has twin martial spirits before, but I never thought that Xiao Ocean actually has twin god-level martial spirits. Jian Daoluo said. Twin god-level martial spirits. Bone Daoluo said. Although they have seen many twin martial spirits, the quality is at most 2 top-level quality, but this is already very strong, directly surpassing 99.9% of soul masters. But Tianyu uses 2 god-level quality martial spirits, which is definitely the most powerful twin martial spirits they have seen in their nearly 100 years of life. Looking at Tianyu, who was skillfully using the power of space, Gu Daoluo also said, what a strong power of space. Xiao Ocean's use of space power has probably surpassed me. Who is Gu Daoluo? If he said that he was the best in the whole continent, no one would dare to refute him, because he was indeed the best in the whole continent. This was not only because of his martial spirit, but also because he had practiced the power of space for nearly 100 years. But today he said to a teenager that his use of the power of space was not as good as Tianyu's. From this, we can see how much Tianyu understood the power of space. And why does Xiao Ocean's new martial spirit give me such a familiar feeling? Could it be that Xiao Ocean is my long-lost grandson? But the problem is, I don't have a girlfriend either. Gu Daoluo doubted. Seeing Tianyu release a new martial spirit, Yanling was also stunned. This scared the red-haired middle-aged man next to him. The red-haired middle-aged man shook Yanling, who was standing there in a daze, frantically and said, young sect master, please don't scare me. Yanling, who had recovered from his shock, also pulled the red-haired middle-aged man's hand away. Then he said to Zhang Wei, who was also shocked, you should have seen it too, right? Zhang Wei nodded and said, yes, I saw it too. Then the two of them shouted in unison, fuck. Brother Yan is actually a three-life martial spirit. Then the two of them realized that something was wrong and quickly covered each other's mouths. The two of them thought to themselves, the secret of their eldest brother must not be known to others. But Bai Changqing, who was standing aside, looked at them with a look of looking at a fool. They shouted so loudly just now, who wouldn't hear it if people nearby? And as long as the disciples who had just seen Xianyu release the golden holy dragon martial spirit in the secret realm and then saw Xianyu release two martial spirits after coming out basically knew that Xianyu had at least three martial spirits. This matter cannot be hidden, and Xianyu also has no intention of hiding it. The battle scene here. Qianjin Douluo, who was blasted into a mountain by Xianyu, also slowly walked out of the mountain. At this time, he was covered with traces of being burned by Xianyu's special force, and there were cracks on his body after being hit hard by Xianyu, and blood was also leaking from the cracks. After this time, Qianjin Douluo's view of Xianyu changed drastically. He was really numb from being full of confidence at the beginning to being beaten so badly by Xianyu. His face as a super Douluo was completely beaten by Xianyu today. Seeing his eldest brother's embarrassed look, Jianglong Douluo also said, "Brother, how about I take action too?" Qianjin Douluo was about to say no, but he nodded helplessly. Because he knew that if he didn't fight Xianyu with his brother again, he would really lose today. He didn't ask to defeat Xianyu now, just to not lose too badly. Xianyu, who didn't know what the two of them were talking about, also chose to take the initiative to attack. He switched directly from the 9-killing sword god state to the chaos bone dragon state. The silver-white elegant long hair turned into a black and blue color. The two 9-killing sword pupils also turned into one black and one blue. It looked very mysterious and powerful. Xianyu's body was instantly covered by a layer of blue handsome bone armor, covering his face. The armor exuded a mysterious blue light, making the armor look mysterious and handsome as a whole. Xianyu said, "Don't you two like strength? Then I will compete with you two in strength." Although Xianyu's Chaos Bone Dragon's power is not as good as the Golden Holy Dragon, its defense is much stronger than the Golden Holy Dragon. With the help of the power of space, it is enough to fight against Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo. Then Xianyu activated the power of space, and his whole person disappeared directly on the spot, leaving only a blue light. Seeing this scene, Bone Douluo also exclaimed that it was awesome, because even he couldn't use the power of space to teleport instantly. If he wanted to teleport from one place to another, he had to open a space wormhole, mark the place he wanted to go, then enter the wormhole and teleport to the marked place. This ability was already one of the best in the continent. But compared to Xianyu's ability to teleport instantly with just a word, his space wormhole was simply weak. Chapter 138, Twin Heaven Covering Formation. The next second after Xianyu disappeared, a blue space crack appeared in front of Qianjin Douluo. Xianyu jumped out directly from it and punched Qianjin Douluo with a heavy punch. Facing Xianyu's heavy punch, Qianjin Douluo quickly waved the dragon pattern stick in his hand to resist. Xianyu's heavy punch hit Qianjin Douluo's dragon pattern stick directly. But this still shook Qianjin Douluo a short distance away. Jianglong Douluo on the side also seized the opportunity and hit Xianyu with a dragon pattern stick. Facing this attack, Xianyu didn't intend to dodge at all. Because this time he had changed from the assassin state of the 9-killing sword to the battle tank state of the bone dragon. Xianyu's right arm armor instantly shone with a mysterious blue light. Jianglong Douluo's attack also hit it directly. But it was easily blocked by Xianyu's handsome bone armor. Xianyu, who blocked the stick, also threw a punch with his backhand. It hit the handsome face of Jianglong Douluo directly. Although he is almost 100 years old and doesn't care much about his appearance, he still feels humiliated when he is punched in the face. So Jianglong Douluo was also very unhappy and directly pulled back the dragon pattern stick that hit Xianyu's arm. Then he hit Xianyu's head with a heavy stick. At the moment when the dragon pattern stick hit Xianyu's head, the bone armor on Xianyu's body also began to spread to his head instantly, forming a handsome blue head armor. So this blow hit his armor, and directly shook up a series of space ripples. If Xianyu was hit on the head by this stick in the previous state of 9-killing swords, he would definitely not be able to bear it. But he is not in the state of 9-killing sword god now, he is now in the state of war tank. Jianglong Douluo's blow with a force of 100,000 tons hit Xianyu's helmet, which only made Xianyu's head move slightly, and there was no problem with anything else. Xianyu thought to himself, sure enough, the timid fighting style is not suitable for me. It's all because the previous state of the 9-killing sword god was too fragile. Sure enough, a real man's fight must be a melee. Then Xianyu, who was hiding under a handsome helmet, said, are you done fighting? It's my turn to fight back after the fight. Then Xianyu directly punched out with a heavy punch, weighing 10,000 tons, and it also hit the face of Jianglong Douluo directly. Jianglong Douluo did not have such a high defense as Xianyu. He was directly hit by Xianyu's 100,000-ton punch and had a nosebleed. Then Jianglong Douluo quickly retreated and covered the blood gushing from his nose. Jianglong Douluo cursed in his heart, damn it, didn't this kid fight timidly before? Why is he so fierce after changing his state? My stick can't cause any damage to him. It's too abnormal. Xianyu didn't want to give Jianglong Douluo a chance to breathe, and directly swung the Bone God Fist to hit Jianglong Douluo. Facing the attacking Xianjiao, Jianglong Douluo did not dare to fight hard, and directly retreated while saying, brother, let's use that move. Qianjin Douluo, who was adjusting his injuries, nodded and then joined the battle. However, this time Qianjin Douluo stood together with Jianglong Douluo, seemingly forming a certain formation. Seeing this scene, Jian Douluo said, could it be that Qianjin and Jianglong used that move? It should be that move, no doubt. Bone Douluo said. Twin Zhenlong covering the sky formation. Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo both emitted dazzling light. A strange formation also appeared under Xianyu's feet in an instant. When Xianyu raised his head again, he found that he had entered a strange space. Xianyu looked around and found that there was nothing nearby. But in the eyes of outsiders, Xianyu was stunned in place, while Jianglong Douluo and Qianjin Douluo were staring at Xianyu with a covetous look. Then Qianjin Douluo directly hit Xianyu with a stick. Although Xianyu couldn't see anything, he still sensed the danger and dodged the stick by leaning sideways. But don't forget, this time it wasn't just Qianjin Douluo. Jianglong Douluo on the side also seized the opportunity. He said directly, go to hell. Then he hit Xianyu's back with a heavy stick. Before Xianyu's body could react, Qianjin Douluo followed up with a blow from the front of Xianyu, hitting Xianyu's chest. Then Xianyu was hit back and forth by Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo in the formation. He could only defend or avoid damage because he was breaking the formation. The people on the side saw Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong use this move and also talked about it. Yanling cursed, what the hell? Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo actually used such a dark move to deal with our brother Tian. That's right. Zhang Wei on the side said. Fighting is all about skills and formations. This is called using softness to overcome hardness and using weakness to win. Rushing without thinking is just being a fool. Bai Changqing said on the side. Old Bai, you know nothing. We only know that direct melee is the best. That's why I say you two are fools. Bai Changqing said this in a low voice. Ah. Old Bai, what did you say? Yanling asked. Oh, I said this battle is really exciting. Bai Changqing changed the subject. On the battle scene, Xianyu was being beaten crazily by Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong in the formation. Fortunately, his bone armor defense is ridiculously high, and Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo can only use ordinary soul skills after using this move, and cannot use higher soul skills, which also makes them unable to break Xianyu's soul skills. If it weren't for these reasons, Xianyu might really have a chance to fall today. Although Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo can't cause any harm to him, he has been passively beaten and can't fight back, which makes him very frustrated. It seems that I can only use that move. Xianyu thought. Heavenly Demon Eye. Xianyu thought to himself. Then a huge demon eye suddenly appeared in the sky and began to scan the formation where Xianyu was now. Hey? What is this? Everyone was a little confused when they saw the demon eye that suddenly appeared. After a while, Xianyu thought to himself, I found it. Xianyu clenched his fist and punched a corner. With a loud bang, the heaven-covering formation was broken, and he finally saw Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo. Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo obviously did not expect Xianyu to break their formation that had won them thousands of battles and thousands of victories so quickly. They originally wanted to teach Xianyu a lesson. After breaking the formation, Xianyu also cursed, Your brother. Then a special force disappeared directly from the original place. The next moment, it instantly appeared in front of Qianjun Douluo and Jianglong Douluo. First, a punch hit Qianjun Douluo's face directly, blasting him far away and smashing him hard on the ground. As soon as he reacted, Dragon Douluo wanted to throw out his dragon pattern stick to block the attack. But Tianyu kicked him directly in the face with a whip kick, which also blasted him far away and knocked down several mountains. Tianyu remembered that when he was trapped in the formation just now, Dragon Douluo hit him the hardest, specifically aiming at his handsome face. Tianyu didn't know how his handsome face offended him. Chapter 139 Billions of Tons of Power. The two brothers, Qianjun Douluo and Jianglong Douluo, who were beaten and flew away, also quickly got up from the ground. At this time, both of them had swollen and black bruises on their faces. The two exchanged glances and decided to use their strongest moves directly. Because if they held back their big moves, they might really lose today. They thought it was ridiculous. When they fought against Jian Douluo and Gu Douluo, they only used the sixth soul skill, but to deal with such a teenager, they were forced to use their strongest moves. Anyway, after this battle, Xianyu will definitely be famous. After all, at the age of a teenager, he beat two level 97 Super Douluos Black and Blue. How can he not be famous if it is spread out? What's more, there are so many people watching today. No matter what the result is, after this battle, Qianjun Douluo and Jianglong Douluo will definitely become famous. As for what kind of fame, everyone knows. Qianjun Douluo and Jianglong Douluo stood shoulder to shoulder. A black soul ring quickly floated on their bodies. A golden light flashed, and the two of them directly entered the state of martial soul true body, and their attack power was greatly enhanced. Then, two dazzling red ninth soul rings rose on their bodies. Qianjun Douluo and Jianglong Douluo shouted in unison, "Martial soul fusion skill, Dinghe stick." Seeing this scene, Jian Douluo also said, "I didn't expect Zion Ocean to force them to use this move. Even if we want to block this martial soul fusion skill, it is very difficult. We almost dodge it if we can. I just don't know if Zion Ocean can block it. Qianjun and Jianglong are so face-saving. Can't they just leave? It's just a loss of face. Why do they have to do this?" Bone Douluo said. Jian Douluo also shook his head helplessly. The moment the two ninth soul rings of Qianjun Douluo and Jianglong Douluo merged, the dragon patterned sticks in their hands merged into one. Then I saw that the dragon patterned stick quickly grew in length, just like a golden stick. It soon soared to a height of several thousand meters and pierced through the clouds. Then I saw Qianjun Douluo and Jianglong Douluo wave their hands. The giant stick that was several thousand meters long and weighed tens of millions of tons also smashed directly at Xianyu. The power of this attack was enough to rival the attack of the ultimate Douluo. Even the Bone Douluo with super high defense would be seriously injured if he took this attack. So other super Douluos would dodge this attack if they could, and would not resist it head-on. But who is Xianyu? Will he retreat? Obviously impossible. Xianyu stood straight in place, and it was obvious that he was going to resist this terrifying attack. Seeing that Xianyu was going to resist this terrifying attack, Jin Ringsu in the sky was also a little worried. She wanted Xianyu to let it go, but after she saw the confidence and determination in Xianyu's eyes, she gave up the idea. Because he always believes in his man. If Xianyu activated his super god level martial spirit, he might be able to withstand this attack. But Xianyu wanted to challenge the limit. He wanted to try how much the ultimate defense of the Chaos Bone Dragon could have. As he spoke, the dragon pattern giant stick weighing tens of millions of tons was about to hit Xianyu, and a huge shadow also covered Xianyu. A black soul ring also rose quickly from Xianyu's body. Ultimate Bone Demon Dragon Space Shield. The moment the soul ring rose, an energy shield condensed by strong space power instantly appeared in front of Xianyu. The 1,000-meter-long dragon pattern giant stick weighing tens of millions of tons also smashed hard on Xianyu's space shield. The moment the dragon pattern giant stick hit the space shield, several cracks immediately appeared on the space shield, but it did not explode completely because it was supported by Xianyu's endless soul power. Looking at the space shield with more and more cracks, Xianyu thought to himself, is it really not going to hold up anymore? Seeing that the giant stick was stuck like this, Qianjun Douluo and Jianglong began to frantically infuse soul power into the dragon pattern giant stick, almost draining the soul power in their bodies. But the effect obviously did not disappoint their expectations. The increase in power caused the space shield to gradually collapse. With a continuous increase in the weight of the dragon pattern giant stick, Xianyu's space shield finally couldn't hold up and exploded directly, turning into pieces of fragments. Then the dragon pattern giant stick weighing tens of millions of tons also pressed directly on Xianyu. Xianyu raised his hands directly to resist the dragon pattern giant stick that was pressing down. At this time, Xianyu's arms were completely bearing tens of millions of tons of power. And this weight was still being strengthened by Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo. I saw that the weight of the dragon pattern giant stick on Xianyu's arms gradually increased from 60 million tons, 70 million tons, 80 million tons, and did not stop until it broke through to 99 million tons. Until the weight of the dragon pattern giant stick broke through 100 million tons. This scene also made many people unable to bear it. An elder of a sect said, "The combined age of Qianjin and Jianglong is almost 200 years old. Why are they still so serious about such a junior who is only in his teens?" That's right, if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. It's not shameful to just leave. Fighting with such a junior with such a low realm and using all your strength is called lack of martial ethics and shame. Another elder of the sect said, "Are Qianjin and Jianglong crazy? Why don't you stop? Do you have to crush Xiao to death?" Bone Douluo cursed and was about to intervene. But he was stopped by Jian Douluo on the side. "Xiao Jianjian, you." Bone Douluo was about to say something, but Jian Douluo said, "Xiao hasn't given up yet, so don't bother him." Looking at Xianyu's determined eyes, Bone Douluo could only put down his hand helplessly. At this time, Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo in the field were also helpless. Experts of their level are all very proud. Today, they have lost too much face. If they go back like this, their prestige in the spirit hall will definitely drop a lot. Now, the two of them are exhausted, relying only on the last bit of soul power to support the dragon pattern giant stick. They can no longer retreat. They have used all their strength. If they still can't beat Xianyu, a teenager, they will probably become a laughingstock, so they have no choice at this time. They just hope that Xianyu can fall before their last bit of soul power is exhausted. But how could Xianyu fall so easily? The person who can make Dongfang Xianyu fall has not appeared yet. Xianyu's arms, whose bone armor burst under the pressure of billions of tons, instantly shone with dazzling blue light. Then Xianyu roared. His arms directly pushed the dragon pattern giant stick weighing billions of tons into the air. At this moment, Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo both cried out that it was bad. The moment Xianyu pushed the dragon pattern giant stick up into the air, his fists instantly shone with blue light, and then he quickly punched out. The fist wrapped in dazzling blue light directly and steadily hit the dragon pattern giant stick. First of all, let me explain that the setting of this book will definitely not be the same as the original. The combat system of this book will be strengthened by more than one level compared to the original. The handsome book friends who can see this should also know that this is the feature of this book, and basically they will not mind these settings, because those who cannot accept it have already left in the front. Chapter 140 End. Under this punch, the huge dragon pattern giant stick also exploded directly, turning into a few soul fragments that floated in the air. At this moment, Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo could no longer hold on. They were directly attacked, and they spit out blood and fell to the ground powerlessly. Xianyu dragged his two torn fists and slowly walked towards Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo, who had lost their ability to fight. Xianyu came in front of Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo and raised a fist to punch. Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo, who felt scared, also shouted, "We admit defeat." Xianyu's fist also stopped in front of their faces. At this time, Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo were already scared and sweating. They were really afraid that Xianyu would hit them to death with one punch. They had lived for nearly 100 years, and it was the first time they felt so scared. Fortunately, Xianyu did not want to beat them to death. Xianyu looked down at Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo lying on the ground, then shook his hand and said, "It would have been better if it had been so earlier." After saying that, he turned and walked towards Jinring Su. Looking at Xianyu's back as he left, Jianglong Douluo said, "Brother, what kind of monster is this kid? Is he really still a human?" Qianjin Douluo shook his head helplessly and said, "I don't know. I only know that the future continent will definitely be his world. I just hope he won't be the enemy of our spirit hall. It shouldn't be, after all, the same girl is already his lover. Jianglong Douluo said. I hope so. He is only a teenager now and has such terrible strength with a soul power of level 40. You can imagine that after he reaches the level of title Douluo, who else on this continent can beat him? It is estimated that by then, our great priests and the Pope will not be his opponents. Alice, let's go back to the temple to report first. Then Qianjin Douluo also struggled to get up and used the power of flying to fly towards the spirit hall, and Jianglong Douluo followed closely behind. Xianyu walked away for a while, and Jin Ringsu's slender figure came to him anxiously. Jin Ringsu gently lifted up Xianyu's torn hands, and said distressedly, Tian, does it hurt? You can still see the tears in her eyes. Xianyu also smiled slightly and said, it doesn't hurt at all. How could it not hurt? This can be said to be the most painful time for Xianyu in such a long time of fighting. His hands were almost disabled. But as a man, how could he cry out in pain? Even if it hurts, he will endure it. Jin Ringsu saw that Xianyu must be forcing himself to endure it, and said gently, Tian, I will help you heal. I saw a white holy light also began to emerge from Jin Ringsu's body, and gradually gathered on Xianyu's torn hands. Then Xianyu saw that his torn hands gradually began to recover. After a while, they were restored to their original state. Looking at his hands that had recovered, Xianyu was a little bit unconvinced at first, and he also moved his hands. After that, he was sure that his hands had really recovered. What a magical ability! Xianyu couldn't help but say. Because this recovery ability is comparable to the recovery power of his system. This is the new skill brought by Jin Ringsu's martial soul after the Super God evolution, Holy Light Healing. How can a Super God level martial soul not have some powerful skills? Xianyu also gently touched Jin Ringsu's head and said, Thank you, Zuir. Jin Ringsu snuggled into Xianyu's arms and said, Don't say thank you for our relationship, it will make us look very unfamiliar, and you were injured for my freedom. Xianyu also hugged Jin Ringsu tightly in his arms. Everyone who saw this scene was jealous. Woo, I envy brother Tian so much, I have such a beautiful girlfriend like sister Zuir. Zhang Wei said. Can't you find one yourself? What's the point of envying brother Tian? Do you have the strength and appearance of brother Xianyu? Yanling said. I can't find one. I dare to ask if there is another girl as beautiful as sister Zuir in the world. Zhang Wei said. Good guy, Zhang Wei, you actually want to find a girl as beautiful as sister Zuir. Do you have that ability? Yanling said. In fact, Yanling and Zhang Wei are both good looking. Although they can't compare with Xianyu, they are already super handsome among men. Their appearance should be at the same level as Oscar and Daimyu Bei. They are the kind of girls who line up to chase them even if they stand still. The reason why they don't have girlfriends is actually similar to Daimyu Bei, because they are too demanding. These two guys both want girls who are unique, beautiful and have good personalities. How can such girls be so easy to find? It's good enough to meet two of them. Do you want her to be your girlfriend? After all, they are not as invincible and handsome as Xianyu, so they deserve to be single and can't find a girlfriend. Ning Fengzi, who saw this scene, said, Xia Ocean is such a perfect child. It's a pity that people who are too perfect will always attract too many girls. I hope he can be nicer to Rongrong. Ning Fengzi did not dislike Xianyu's character of flirting with women everywhere. After all, Xianyu has many beauties, which proves how great Xianyu's personality charm is. Even Ning Fengzi himself has more than one wife. What qualifications does he have to ask Xianyu to love only his daughter? Let's go back, Uncle Jian, Uncle Gu. Ning Fengzi turned around and left after he finished speaking, because the matter had been resolved, and he had to leave, because their 7 treasures glazed sect still had a lot of things that needed him to deal with. Then Ning Fengzi also left with everyone from the 7 treasures glazed sect. After all, Ning Ming had already returned to the 7 treasures glazed sect's team. Xianyu said to Jin Ringsu in his arms, Zuir, from today you are free. Jin Ringsu nodded in Xianyu's arms and said, Yes. Let's go, Zuir, since the problem has been solved, it's time for me to take you to meet your good sisters. Xianyu said shamelessly. The good sisters of Jin Ringsu that Xianyu mentioned were naturally Xiao Wu and the others. Jin Ringsu didn't say anything, but just nodded silently, because she knew that a man like Xianyu couldn't have only her as a woman. Then Xianyu also took Jinriksu by the hand, summoned the space gate directly, and teleported in the direction of Shrek. "Oh, brother Xianyu is gone again," Yanling said as he looked at Xianyu's back. "Since brother Xianyu has left, let's go too, Elder Yan," Yanling said. The red-haired middle-aged titled Douluo who had been beside Yanling also nodded. After Yanling left, Zhang Wei, Bai Changqing and others also followed the elder sent by the sect back. The departure of the people from the Spirit Hall and Xianyu also meant that this good show was completely over, and the people from the various sects also went back to their own homes. After these sects returned, they would do the same thing without exception. That is, they would spread what they saw and heard at the exit of the secret realm this time. After this battle, Xianyu became completely famous. Book Friends Group 100,861,943. Join the group to urge for more updates. Please join the group. Chapter 141. Return to Shrek Academy. After a period of teleportation, Xianyu and Jinriksu soon returned to Shrek Academy. Why did Xianyu choose to teleport instead of flying in the air? At least he could see the scenery along the way with Jinriksu. In fact, Xianyu also thought that it was mainly because he was too tired after half a month, especially in the past 2 days. He had fought 2 battles in a row. One was a battle with King Kong Dragon King, and the other was a battle with Qianjin Douluo and Jianglong Douluo. These 2 battles have exhausted him physically and mentally. Xianyu now just wants to go back to his comfortable dormitory and lie on the big bed, and then hug Zuir and Xiaoyu and other girls to have a good sleep. Xianyu and Jinriksu walked leisurely on the country road of Shrek Academy, and took Jinriksu to familiarize herself with the environment of Shrek Academy. During the time when Xianyu was away, Flanders also renovated Shrek Academy. Xianyu saw many new buildings built along the way. On the way, Xianyu also met several teachers in the academy. Xianyu also greeted them. The teachers were also surprised for a while when they saw Jinriksu beside Xianyu, but then they got used to it. Because every time they saw Xianyu go out, he would always bring back a new girl, and each one was prettier than the other. After a while, Xianyu came to the square where the Shrek people often practiced. But Xianyu did not see them. But he saw Xiao Wu passing by. Then Xianyu also stepped forward and said, "Teacher Xiao, didn't everyone practice today?" Xiao Wu was a little unresponsive when he saw Xianyu for the first time. He stayed for a second before saying, "Xianyu, you are back? You are really good. You have been away for half a month. If you don't come back, I will forget about you, the #1 monster in Shrek." Xianyu also scratched his head embarrassedly and said, "I'm sorry, Teacher Xiao, I'm going to improve my strength." Hearing Xianyu say that he went out to improve his strength, Xiao Wu obviously didn't believe it, but after seeing Jinriksu beside Xianyu, he showed an expression of understanding. Xiao Wu walked to Xianyu's side, patted Xianyu's shoulder and said, "Xia Ocean, there's nothing wrong with liking beauty, but it is not good to be overly obsessed. Xia Ocean, you are still young, so be moderate." After that, he walked directly in the direction behind Xianyu. "Ah. No, Teacher Xiao, you haven't told the other people in Shrek where you are going," Xianyu said. Xiao Wu didn't look back, but just said, "There is no training class today. They should all be resting in their respective dormitories." Jinriksu looked at Xiao Wu who was leaving and said, "Why do I feel that this teacher in your academy looks a little familiar, as if I have seen him somewhere?" Xianyu also asked, "Zuir, where have you seen Teacher Xiao?" "Oh, I remember, I saw him on the wanted list of our Wuhan Hall," Jinriksu said. "I just took a look at the wanted list at that time, but I just felt a little familiar. I don't know if it is," Jinriksu said. "Zuir, you are not mistaken. Teacher Xiao is indeed the one on the wanted list of the Spirit Hall. He is the Akala Xiao Wu who was not caught by the Spirit Hall even after more than a dozen soul saints were sent out. But don't worry, Zuir. Teacher Xiao is a good person," Xianyu explained. In Xianyu's eyes, every teacher in Shrek is a very responsible teacher. Jinriksu also nodded and said, "Well, Tian, I believe you." Then Xianyu also brought Jinriksu to the door of his exclusive dormitory #1. Jinriksu followed Xianyu a little nervously, because Xianyu told him that several of his good sisters were in this door. But Xianyu was heartless and opened the door directly, shouting inside, "Girls, your handsome Xianyu is back." As soon as Xianyu walked into the room, He was thrown onto the sofa by 4 soft and slender figures. Who else could these 4 figures be? Of course, they were his 4 beauties, Xiao Wu, Yiren, Lingling and Yuer. As soon as Xiao Wu threw herself into Xianyu's arms, she cursed, "How could you run away for so long without saying a word, you bad guy? Do you know how worried I am?" A closer look revealed tears in Xiao Wu's eyes. Meng Yiren and Xianyu's arms also said, "That's right, Yiren thought that brother Xianyu didn't want me anymore, and I didn't come back for so long." Yi Lingling was also complaining like a little woman in Xianyu's arms. After all, Xianyu had just kidnapped her to his golden house and disappeared after only one night, which was indeed a bit too much. Although Gu Yuna in Xianyu's arms didn't say anything, from her resentful eyes, it can be seen that her attitude is similar to that of Xiao Wu and the others. Xianyu was pressed on the sofa by several women and couldn't move, and he was also in pain and happiness. No matter how Xianyu begged for mercy, the girls refused to let Xianyu go. Xianyu could only kiss each of them on the forehead helplessly and said, "I'm sorry, it's my fault. I won't dare to do it again." Feeling Xianyu's sincere attitude of admitting his mistakes, the girls reluctantly spared Xianyu and all came out of his arms. Xianyu, who had escaped from the gentleness of the girls, introduced Jinringsu to Xiao and others, saying, "This is Zuir. Zuir is the girl I have liked since childhood. We made an agreement a long time ago. I went out this time to pick her up." Xiao and others had noticed Jinringsu a long time ago, but they didn't greet her properly just now in order to punish Xianyu. Facing the girls who looked at her, Jinringsu also introduced herself. "Hello, my name is Jinringsu, you can just call me Zuir." Seeing the new good sisters, Xiao and others did not reject them, because they were used to it. On the contrary, they quite liked the feeling of so many people sharing one husband. Xiao Wu also stepped forward for the first time and said, "Hello, my name is Xiao Wu, the Wu of dancing. I am Xianyu's first girlfriend, so you have to call me Sister Xiao Wu." Xiao Wu also declared her sovereignty. Faced with Xiao Wu's declaration of sovereignty, Jinringsu didn't care much, just called her sister Xiao Wu obediently. After all, everything is based on first come first served. Yet, Xiao Wu nodded with satisfaction, because in Xiao Wu's eyes, as long as the girl is not the kind of girl who likes to fight for the win and is scheming, Xiao Wu is very happy to be a good sister. Then the other girls also introduced themselves to each other. "My name is Meng Yiren, Zuir, you can just call me Yiren like the other sisters." Meng Yiren said naturally. "Okay, Yiren." Jinringsu said. Yi Lingling also introduced, "My name is Yi Lingling, Zuir, you can just call me Lingling." "Okay, Lingling." Jinringsu said. Finally, it was Gu Yuna who said, "My name is Gu Yuna, you can just call me Yuir." Then the girls quickly became familiar with each other. Xianyu was relieved to see this scene. Fortunately, her beauties were all considerate and kind girls, so there was no embarrassing situation like the Shura field. If a situation like the training field really happened, Xianyu really didn't know who to help, because he loved all the girls, but fortunately it didn't happen. Thanks to the Book Friend Garden Dream for the 1666 book coins reward, thank you very much. Thanks to the Book Friend Ancient Tuning String Sound A Song of Sadness for the 1666 book coins reward, thank you very much. Chapter 142 Immortal Grass, 1. After a while, Xianyu arrived at the door of Shrek's canteen. Xianyu looked at the sky. This time period was just the time for Shrek's dinner. Xianyu stepped directly into the gorgeous canteen. In the past half-month, Flanders had already decorated all the buildings in the academy luxuriously. The canteen, which is a place that people come to several times a day, is also the most luxuriously decorated. As soon as Xianyu walked into the canteen, he saw Fatty, Oscar, and Daimyu Bei, who were just finishing their meals and going out of the academy to cool off. Xianyu could still hear Fatty shouting from a distance, "Boss Dai, the little red in the club last night had good skills. She served me well, I will order her again tonight." "Haha, Fatty, aren't you tired? You went there last night, and you are going again tonight," Daimyu Bei said to Fatty. Then Daimyu Bei and the other two saw Xianyu. They were stunned for a while when they saw Xianyu, and then they said in surprise, "Xianyu, you are back?" Xianyu nodded and said, "Yeah, I'm back." The fat man also stepped forward and put his arm around Xianyu's shoulder and said, "Brother Don, Where have you been for the past half-month? I went to pick up girls. Xianyu also said directly. Hearing Xianyu say that he went to pick up girls, Mo Hongjin regretted asking Xianyu where he had been on the spot. Because he knew that every time Xianyu came back from going out, he would always bring back 1 or 2 stunning beauties, but they were not included, so they could only envy. By the way, where are Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing? Xianyu also asked. I knew that you wouldn't be so kind to come and see us. It turns out that you are still thinking about the 2 beauties in our college. Daimubei teased. Daimubei had already given up pursuing Zhu Zhuqing because he knew that he would never be able to catch up with Zhu Zhuqing. Now Zhu Zhuqing's eyes are all Xianyu. During the half-month that Xianyu was away, Zhu Zhuqing's temperament became even colder, and they didn't dare to get close to her. What's wrong? Brother Yan, are you afraid that we will take advantage of you? Oscar on the side also said. He had already given up pursuing Ning Rongrong. His martial soul is just a short and weak sausage, while Xianyu's martial soul is a god-level dragon martial soul. As long as the girl is not blind, she will choose Xianyu. So he gave up this useless and meaningless pursuit, because Ning Rongrong's heart already belonged to Xianyu, and there was no place for him at all. Xianyu also smiled and said, if you have the ability to conquer Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing, of course I won't say anything. But, you can't do this. I haven't been here for half a month, and you still haven't been able to conquer Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing. Haha, Xianyu, don't laugh at us. Everyone in the academy knows that Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing have feelings for you. No matter how hard we losers try, it's useless. Although Daimubei said it very casually, one could still hear a hint of helplessness in his words. Daimubei also said, okay, Xianyu, Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing haven't left yet. They are both still in the cafeteria. You can see them when you go in. We won't disturb you. Then Daimubei walked towards the entrance of the college, saying as he walked, Fatty, Xiao, you two hurry up, Xianyu was back tonight, I'm in a good mood, I'll treat you. As soon as they heard that Daimubei was treating them, Fatty and Oscar followed Daimubei towards the entrance of the academy. As for where they were going, those who knew would know. Looking at the figures of several people leaving, Xianyu sighed helplessly. Xianyu can share everything with his good brothers, but he can't share women. Zhu Zhuqing and Ning Rongrong will only live better with him than with him. Xianyu did not force Ning Rongrong and the others. This was their own choice, and they all chose Xianyu, who is more charismatic. If you pretend to turn a blind eye to a girl who likes you when you know that she likes you, and you still push her to your brothers, isn't this a complete stupid act of giving a girl away? Anyway, Xianyu will never do such a stupid act. You can dislike it, but if you force it, you will be a real fool. Xianyu shook his head and decided not to think too much, and walked directly into the cafeteria. Xianyu didn't walk a few steps before he saw 2 stunning beauties not far away who were resting their hands on the table in a depressed mood. It was obvious that Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing were both thinking about something at this moment. They didn't even notice that Xianyu had come to them. Xianyu walked lightly to Ning Rongrong's small ear and exhaled and whispered, My little Princess Rongrong, why are you so depressed today? After feeling the familiar breath and the magnetic voice, Ning Rongrong instantly changed from her depressed state, and said with surprise, Xianyu, you are back. Xianyu touched Ning Rongrong's little head and nodded, well, I can't bear to leave you 2 little princesses. If I don't come back, you 2 will be kidnapped. Oh, you still know how to come back. Ning Rongrong was so angry that she turned her head away and refused to let Xianyu touch her. Obviously, she wanted Xianyu to apologize to her. Xianyu looked at Zhu Zhuqing, and Zhu Zhuqing turned her head away in anger, not looking at Xianyu. Obviously, she also wanted Xianyu to coax her. Xianyu scratched his head and thought, I really can't do anything about you 2 little princesses. Fortunately, I have been prepared. Xianyu stretched out his hands, 2 bright lights flashed, and 2 particularly beautiful and attractive flowers appeared in Xianyu's hands. In Xianyu's right hand was a very beautiful fairy grass, the roots and leaves below were all vine curtains, finely combed. But on the top was a golden tulip. The rich tulip scent was just a light sniff, and there was a feeling of being strongly attracted. The rich fragrance and golden color gave people a magnificent feeling. In Xianyu's left hand was a large light pink flower, leafless, with a 3-foot-long stem, a very large flower, and a full foot in diameter. Each petal looked as crystal clear as crystal. The light pink flower swayed gently with the mist, the stamens were light purple, like purple diamonds inlaid there, the fragrance was far-reaching, but not strong, a faint fragrance, as moving as the body fragrance of a virgin. The moment Xianyu took out the 2 fairy grasses, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing were instantly attracted. Seeing the uncontrollable look of delight in the eyes of the 2 girls, Xianyu directly handed the 2 magical herbs to the 2 girls. Rongrong, Zhuqing, this is a gift from me to you two. Is it really for us? Ning Rongrong said. After all, they were not country bumpkins. They knew at a glance that these 2 flowers were rare magical herbs. Xianyu nodded and said, of course it's for you. This is the magical herb I found for you with great difficulty. Then Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing also gently took the magical herbs from Xianyu's hand. In just a moment when they took the magical herbs in their hands, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing both felt the soul power in their bodies slowly increasing. What a magical flower! Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing said in their hearts at the same time. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 143 Immortal Grass, 2. Xianyu thought that this fairy grass was of course magical. He picked it from the system reward he got from this secret realm journey. As long as he absorbed it, his soul power would instantly rise to a higher level, level 10, and the quality of his martial soul could also be upgraded. Obviously, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing didn't know what unexpected magical effects would come after absorbing this magical flower in their hands. Now they just thought it was a very magical and rare fairy grass. Xianyu, what's the name of this flower? Ning Rongrong asked happily while playing with the flower in her hand. Obviously, she was no longer angry with Xianyu. Xianyu thought for a while and said, Rongrong, the name of the fairy grass in your hand is Killuo Tulip, and the one in Zhu Qing's hand is Amethyst Fragrant Killuo. What nice names, not only the appearance is so beautiful, but also the name is so nice. Ning Rongrong said. Seeing Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing like it so much, Xianyu also said, Rongrong, the effect of Killuo Tulip will be better after absorption. Ah! This flower is so beautiful, and it is a gift from you, Xianyu, how can I bear to absorb it? Ning Rongrong said, holding the fairy grass in her hand. Xianyu also stretched out his hand to rub Ning Rongrong's little head and said, silly Rongrong, the reason why I gave you the fairy grass is of course to improve your strength. What's the use of it being pretty? Rongrong, Zhuqing, listen to me, absorb the fairy grass in your hands after returning to the dormitory tonight, and then you will find a different surprise. Okay. Ning Rongrong nodded. After all, Xianyu said so, the 2 of them had to try to absorb it no matter what. After all, Xianyu said there would be a different surprise, and they also wanted to know what surprises would come after absorbing it. Ning Rongrong, who was playing with the fairy grass in her hand, seemed to have thought of something. She came to Xianyu's side and gently tiptoed to kiss Xianyu on the right cheek. Then Ning Rongrong said arrogantly, Xianyu, don't think wrongly, this is just a reward for the gift you gave me. Xianyu had seen through Ning Rongrong's little thoughts a long time ago. What reward? This little girl obviously wanted to take advantage of him. Xianyu didn't expose her, he just smiled. Zhu Zhuqing, who was about to pretend not to see this scene, was about to turn her head away. Xianyu looked directly at her, with a slight smile on his face, and said, Zhuqing, won't you reward me too? No. When Zhu Zhuqing heard that Xianyu wanted a reward, she also shook her head and covered her mouth. She still remembered that she wanted to give Xianyu a reward last time, but when she was about to kiss Xianyu on the face, Xianyu, this guy, turned his head around without any martial ethics and took away her first kiss. Seeing that Zhu Zhuqing was not fooled, Xianyu immediately acted like an actor and pretended to be disappointed, saying, so Kinger dislikes me so much? Well, I won't force it. I'm just a boy that no one loves. Xianyu, that's not what I meant. Zhu Zhuqing also hurriedly explained, for she was afraid that Xianyu would hate her because of this. Xianyu just looked at Zhu Zhuqing like this. Zhu Zhuqing also came to Xianyu carefully and said, it's not impossible, but you may not turn your head suddenly this time. Tianyu also nodded and pretended to agree. Okay. Then close your eyes. Zhu Zhuqing said. Xianyu also closed his eyes on the spot. But do you think he will be honest after closing his eyes? After confirming that Xianyu had honestly closed his eyes, Zhu Zhuqing also gently kissed Xianyu's side face. Just when Zhu Zhuqing's sweet lips were less than 1 centimeter away from Xianyu's side face, Xianyu turned his head quickly and caught Zhu Zhuqing's sweet lips with his cheap mouth on the spot. Zhu Zhuqing, who was not aware of the problem, also hurriedly separated, but Xianyu still got the upper hand. After separating, Zhu Zhuqing also said coquettishly on the spot, "Xianyu, you are lying." After saying that, she raised her pink fist and hit Xianyu directly. Xianyu dodged Zhu Zhuqing's pink fist attack lightly. Zhu Zhuqing, who wanted to continue to hit Xianyu, found that Xianyu had already escaped dozens of meters away. Xianyu said, "Kinger, your lips are still so fragrant. I have something to do, so I will leave first. See you tomorrow. Remember to absorb the fairy grass in your hands tonight." After saying the last sentence, Xianyu also disappeared on the spot with a special force. Looking at Xianyu who ran away, Zhu Zhuqing stomped her feet and said, "Oh, let this bad guy run away." Xianyu, who fled back to the dormitory, also stretched his waist and turned around to find that Xiao Wu and the other girls had woken up. Jin Ringsu and Guyuna, who escaped, also came back. After all, it was time to go to bed at this point. Speaking of this, Xianyu also walked towards his bed with a sneer. After all, it was time to go to bed and rest. Seeing Xianyu's dishonest expression, the 5 stunning beauties on Xianyu's big bed were also afraid to gather together. Seeing the vigilant women, Xianyu decided to find something to relax their attention before taking action. Xianyu suddenly said seriously, "Xiao Wu, Yiren, Lingling, Zuir, Yuir, I have a gift for you." When they heard that there was a gift, the women also became interested. Meng Yiren also directly pulled Xianyu to the bed and lay in his arms and said, "Brother Xianyu, what gift are you going to give us?" Xianyu didn't plan to make any surprises or anything. He just stretched out his hand, and 5 fairy grasses emitting rich spiritual power were also suspended in Xianyu's palm. The 5 fairy grasses are all different in color, each of which exudes a charming fragrance and exudes a strong soul power. Just getting close to it can feel that the soul power in the body is slowly increasing. "Wow! What a beautiful flower!" Yi Lingling said in surprise. After all, no girl doesn't like beautiful flowers, especially such beautiful fairy grass. Xianyu moved his mind, and 5 fairy grasses of different shapes floated into the hands of 5 beautiful women. Each girl got her own fairy grass. "Brother Xianyu, what is the name of my flower?" Meng Yiren asked, looking at the dark blue flower in his hand. "Yiren, the flower in your hand is called Longling Kingling flower." Xianyu said. "What a nice name." Meng Yiren said. "Yiren, you absorb it." Xianyu said. "Ah. Brother Xianyu, this flower is so beautiful, why do you want to absorb it? And it's a gift from you, Brother Xianyu, I can't bear it." Meng Yiren looked at the flower in his hand and said. Xianyu knew this would happen. When Xianyu asked the girls to absorb the fairy grass, they would be reluctant to do so. To them, this was a gift from Xianyu. This flower had great significance to them. Even though they knew that absorbing it would help their cultivation, they were still reluctant to part with it. Xianyu touched Meng Yiren's little head and said, "Don't be reluctant to part with it. Absorb it. Your strength will be greatly improved after absorbing it. I will be very happy as long as your strength can be improved." Meng Yiren thought about it and nodded. Then she used her jade hand to gently place the dragon spirit light flower on her chest. Then a deep blue light flashed, and the dragon spirit light flower also sank directly into Meng Yiren's body. Book Friends Group 100,861,943. Join the group to urge for updates. Please join the group. Chapter 144 Immortal Grass 3. The moment the dragon spirit light flower merged into Meng Yiren's body, the dragon spirit snake staff martial spirit in Meng Yiren's body also instantly appeared above her head. Then everyone in the room saw that Meng Yiren's momentum and soul power were rising rapidly. Level 41, Level 42, Level 43, Level 44, Level 50, until she broke through to the 50th level of Soul King. She stopped and directly increased her soul power by 10 levels. And it was not only Meng Yiren's soul power level that changed, but also her martial soul dragon spirit snake staff was undergoing major changes. I saw a dark blue dragon phantom burst out from Meng Yiren's dragon spirit snake staff in an instant, and directly broke through the roof of Xianyu's dormitory. Xianyu, who felt such a great power, also used a space barrier to cover the dormitory as soon as the dragon spirit broke through the roof. But a trace of soul power still spread out. After all, this power was too great. In a luxurious office of Shrek, Flanders was drinking tea with Xiao Wu leisurely, planning how the academy should develop in the future, because Xianyu's arrival brought too many talented students to their academy, and too much money that could not be spent. All of these greatly increased the hope for the bright future of their Shrek Academy. But Flanders, who was drinking tea, suddenly frowned and said, "Old Zhao, did you feel it? Over there in Xianyu's dormitory?" Xiao Wu asked. "Yes." Flanders nodded. "Then should we go over and take a look?" Xiao Wu asked. Flanders also shook his head and said, "No, with Xianyu here, we don't have to worry. There are many masters around him, even if the title Douluo comes, he can't do anything." Flanders also knew that Xianyu was back. Then Flanders said, "Maybe it's just that Xianyu and a few beauties are having a good time. We don't need to go over to disturb them. It would be bad to disturb the interest of this little ancestor." Then Flanders also gave Xiao Wu an expression that a man knows everything. Xianyu sighed. Meng Yiren's martial soul was still transforming, and the quality of the martial soul was also rapidly improving. After a while, it broke through the limitations of the mortal world, and the martial soul dragon snake staff directly became a god-level martial soul. At this time, Meng Yiren's martial soul had also changed greatly in appearance. A very beautiful silver staff-shaped martial soul was also floating in front of Meng Yiren. It was a 2-meter-long silver-white long staff. The staff was a mysterious and noble silver-white color, and the snake head on the top of the staff was successfully transformed into a silver dragon. And it was not just a simple dragon head, but a complete silver-white dragon wrapped around the staff. The mighty silver dragon eyes exuded a dreamy silver light, which made people feel terrified just by looking at it. This is the effect of upgrading from a mortal-level martial soul to a god-level martial soul. Looking at Meng Yiren, who had completed the martial soul upgrade, Xianyu also asked, "Yiren, how is the effect of the martial soul upgrade?" "Good. Great." Meng Yiren hugged Xianyu in surprise. Xianyu, who was suddenly hugged by Meng Yiren, patted Meng Yiren and said, "Yiren, don't get excited, let me go and talk slowly." Meng Yiren also let go of Xianyu's neck and said in surprise, "Brother Xianyu, after I absorbed the fairy grass, the quality of my martial soul directly broke through to a realm that I don't understand very well but is very mysterious. If I'm not mistaken, this should be the legendary god-level martial soul." Meng Yiren looked at the silver dragon stick in her hand that exuded a noble and mysterious aura and said, "Is it, Brother Xianyu?" Meng Yiren asked Xianyu. After all, she still couldn't be 100% sure that this was a god-level martial soul. Xianyu reached out and touched Meng Yiren's little head, saying, "Yiren, congratulations, your martial soul has indeed evolved into a god-level martial soul." "Yes, that's great, Brother Xianyu, thank you, Trojan." After confirming that her martial soul was a god-level martial soul, Meng Yiren also happily kissed Xianyu on the face several times. Xianyu wiped the traces of being kissed by Meng Yiren, and then said, "Yiren, what is the new name of your martial soul after upgrading?" Meng Yiren thought for a while and said, "Mithril Spirit Dragon Staff." Seeing Meng Yiren's martial soul evolved into a god-level martial soul on the spot after absorbing the fairy grass, and the soul power level instantly increased by 10 levels. Xia Wu and Yulingling and other girls also covered their mouths in shock, but Jinriksu had a very normal expression. Because she had experienced it herself, this kind of promotion from mortal level to god level was nothing compared to her promotion from god level to super god level, so she didn't show much surprise. But she was still very happy to see her good sister Meng Yiren's martial soul evolve. Even Gu Yuna, who had already seen a lot in the god realm, was surprised to see this scene. To be honest, this was the first time she had seen a fairy grass that could make a mortal level martial soul jump to a god level martial soul after absorbing it in her millions of years. Although she knew that it might not be of any use after she absorbed it, she couldn't suppress her surprise in her heart. "Yiran, is this the god level martial spirit? It's so beautiful," Yiling on the side said in surprise. "Well, the fairy grass that Brother Xianyu gave us is too effective. Lingling, you should also absorb the fairy grass in your hand quickly." Meng Yuran said. Yi Lingling also nodded, and then she also put the fairy grass begonia glazed flower in her hand in front of her chest, like Meng Yuran. Then a blue light flashed, and this fairy grass emitting a dreamy colorful light also directly emerged into Yi Lingling's body. The effect was the same as Meng Yuran's. At the moment when the fairy grass entered the body, the 9-heart begonia martial spirit in Yi Lingling's body also broke out of the body and floated above her head. Then everyone present also clearly felt that Yi Lingling's soul power was soaring rapidly. Level 51, Level 52, Level 53, Level 54, until he broke through 10 levels in a row like Meng Yuran, and reached the Level 60 Soul Emperor realm before he stopped. Yi Lingling's martial soul, the 9-heart begonia martial soul, was also changing rapidly. The 9-heart begonia floating in the air instantly emitted a dazzling and sacred colorful light. The 9-heart begonia also changed from the previous single purple to the colored glass color, emitting a dreamy light. After evolving to the god level, each petal of the 9-heart begonia martial soul is a gorgeous individual color. The overall appearance of the flower body has directly promoted several levels, just like a real fairy grass. After completing the evolution, the 9-heart begonia martial soul also floated back to Yi Lingling's hand. After her martial soul evolved into god-level martial soul, Yi Lingling said happily, "Great, brother Tianyu, my martial soul has also evolved." Tianyu also reached out and touched Yi Lingling's head and said, "Well, congratulations, Lingling, give me a new name." Then Yi Lingling also tapped her chin with her finger and thought for a while before saying, 9-heart glazed begonia. After a while, the martial souls of Tianyu's two beauties evolved to god-level martial souls. At this time, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing who returned to the dormitory should also be awakening their martial souls. Jin Ringsu and Gu Yuna's martial souls are already super god-level martial souls, so they don't need to evolve. So now all we need is Xiao Wu's martial soul to evolve, and then Tianyu's harem will be truly all god-level martial souls. Chapter 145 Immortal Grass, 4. Oh my god, what is the name of this magical herb? I want to know its name before I absorb it. Xiao Wu looked at the red flower in her hand that was emitting a beautiful red light. Tianyu also started his nonsense mode seriously and said, "This flower is called Acacia Heartbroken Red." Acacia Heartbroken Red was originally a peony. It is said that this peony is the true body of the flower god in heaven. According to legend, a man missed his wife looking at the peony all day long. After a long time, he became sick with love sickness. The longing for his lover turned into blood in his heart and sprayed it on the peony flower. The peony, which was stained with the most sincere blood in his heart, became the later Acacia Heartbroken Red. Because the man missed his beloved so much that he was heartbroken, the peony flower later became Acacia Heartbroken Red, which is also the origin of Acacia Heartbroken Red. The man moved the flower god with his sincere feelings. In fact, the protagonists of the story of Acacia Heartbroken Red are a man and a woman. The man is an ordinary mortal, and the woman is the flower god in the divine world who is in charge of the flowers and plants in the world. The man likes to grow flowers. There are all kinds of flowers in the courtyard, and what he likes to do all day is to recite poems to flowers. The man is a person who cherishes flowers and plants. Every time a flower withers, the man will be very sad. His sincerity moved the flower god, and the flower god descended to the earth and turned into a woman to marry the man. From the previous stories, we can see that this is a love between gods and humans. It seems that the two are very happy, but since ancient times, gods and humans have never had a good ending when they fall in love. The goddess was forced to leave, and the man was heartbroken. The goddess fell in love with a mortal and violated the rules. In the end, the goddess was taken away by the gods, and the man also lost his wife. The two loved each other but could not see each other. Faced with the departure of his lover, he was powerless. The man gradually fell into depravity, and the flowers and plants in the garden slowly became deserted. By chance, the man learned that his wife's true identity was the peony in his courtyard. As long as the peony was burned, the goddess would become immortal and descend to the earth. The man suddenly woke up. But the man himself was a person who loved and cherished flowers. He didn't want to destroy Baimudan, nor did he want to make the goddess become immortal because of his own selfishness. So the man expressed his longing for Baimudan every day. As time went by, the man finally became sick with longing, and he vomited a mouthful of blood and spilled it on the peony, and then died. The story behind the Acacia Heartbreak Red is sad and heartbreaking, which is why only those who are truly sincere and in love can absorb the Acacia Heartbreak Red. No way? There won't be any stupid book friends who have finished reading it? There are many versions of this story. I just copied and pasted one from Baidu. You won't scold me, right? What a touching story, brother Tianyu. After listening to Tianyu's story, Yilingling and Meng Yiren also wiped their tears and said. Tianyu also touched their heads and said, this is just a story, it's not certain whether it's true or not. Then Tianyu said to Xiao Wu, when absorbing the heartbroken red of Acacia, you must think of your beloved lover in your heart, be sincere, and drop a drop of blood on the petals. If you are a little bit indecisive, you will die of vomiting blood. Xiao, have you thought it through? Tianyu asked again. Before hearing Tianyu's absorption conditions, Xiao didn't want to absorb it very much, because she didn't want to pursue strength very much. She was very satisfied to stay by Tianyu's side, so it didn't matter to her whether she absorbed the fairy grass or not. But after listening to Tianyu's absorption conditions, Xiao decided to absorb the heartbroken red of Acacia, because she believed that she was definitely the one who was truly sincere and loved, and only for Tianyu. Xiao also nodded to Tianyu and said, Tian, I have thought it through. Then she used her soul power to force a drop of blood out of her finger and dripped it on the heartbroken red of Acacia. After absorbing the essence and blood, the heartbroken Acacia slowly floated to Xiao Wu's chest and then merged into her body. At the moment when the heartbroken Acacia merged into Xiao Wu's body, Xiao Wu's soft-bone rabbit martial spirit also emerged from her body. A beam of moonlight shone directly from the starry sky and shone directly on Xiao Wu's body. Then everyone present saw that the pink little rabbit on Xiao Wu's body was slowly changing. A trace of silver white gradually appeared on the pink hair, and a pair of red rabbit eyes also turned into a beautiful silver white. Finally, a silver crescent-shaped mark appeared on the forehead of the soft-bone rabbit martial spirit, and the martial spirit evolution ended. After the martial spirit evolved, Xiao Wu's forehead also had a silver moon-shaped mark like the soft-bone rabbit's forehead. And Xiao Wu's whole temperament also changed, and a fairy-like temperament was added to her body, just as beautiful as a fairy on the moon. Seeing the change in Xiao Wu's temperament, Meng Yiren and Yilingling were also a little surprised. Although their temperaments also changed after absorbing the fairy grass, they were not as big as Xiao Wu's. Xiao Wu was relieved after successfully absorbing the Acacia Heartbroken Red, and was very happy in her heart, but not because she was happy after her martial soul quality evolved to the god level after absorbing the fairy grass. It was because she successfully absorbed the Acacia Heartbroken Red. She was afraid that the absorption would fail at that time. If the absorption failed at that time, it would mean that she did not love Tianyu in her heart. But fortunately, she succeeded in absorbing it, which also proved that the person she loved most in her heart was Tianyu. Looking at Xiao Wu, who had undergone a new change, Tianyu also asked, Xiao Wu, what is the new name of your martial soul? Xiao Wu also thought for a while and said, Softbone Moon God Rabbit. Moon God Rabbit. Tianyu murmured. Looking closely, Xiao Wu's appearance at this time really looks like a fairy on the moon, and her martial soul, the soft-bone moon god rabbit, also looks like the legendary soul beast on the moon star. Meng Yiren looked at Jinriksu and Guyuna, who did not absorb the magic grass in their hands like them, and asked in confusion, Sister Zuir, Sister Yuir, aren't you absorbing the magic grass? Jinriksu shook her head and said, Yiren, Tian has helped my martial soul evolve, so I don't need to absorb the magic grass. Guyuna also said, my martial soul is originally a god-level martial soul, so I don't need to absorb the magic grass. Jinriksu and Guyuna completely downplayed the level of their martial souls. Their martial souls are actually super god-level martial souls, but they downplayed the quality of their martial souls in order to get along better with their sisters. After learning that Jinriksu and Guyuna's martial spirits were already god-level martial spirits, Meng Yiren said enviously, I envy Sister Zuir and Sister Yuir so much, this way they can keep the gift from Brother Tianyu. Then she touched her flat belly and said, it's a pity that the gift from Brother Tianyu has already entered the body. Author's narration, let me explain first. Although the names of these immortal herbs are similar to those in the original work, the effects are far worse, because these immortal herbs have been strengthened by the system, and have long since transformed from the mortal level to the super god level, so they can have such a powerful effect. Book Friends Group 100,861,943. Join the group to urge for updates. Please join the group. Chapter 146 9 Treasures Linglong Tower. Seeing Meng Yiren's cute look, Xianyu also touched the little girl's head and said, Yiren, tell me if you want it, I still have it. Then the space ring in Xianyu's hand lit up, and 3 fairy grasses that were exactly the same as those absorbed by Xiao and the other girls reappeared in Xianyu's hand. Seeing Xianyu took out 3 fairy grasses that were exactly the same as before, Meng Yiren was also surprised and said, Huh? Brother Xianyu, you didn't take them out from Yiren's stomach again, did you? Xianyu also rubbed Meng Yiren's silly head and said, Of course not, who told you that your brother Xianyu only has one of the same flower? Then Xianyu also gave the 3 fairy grasses he took out again to the hands of the girls. Meng Yiren and Yu Lingling, who got the fairy grass again, also said happily, Great, we have received gifts from brother Xianyu again. Yiren, should we give brother Xianyu some rewards? Yu Lingling said mischievously. Sure. Meng Yiren also nodded. Then the 2 girls kissed Xianyu on both cheeks. After the kiss, the 2 girls smiled and said, Brother Xianyu, this is a reward for you. But it is obvious that this reward cannot satisfy Xianyu, the old pervert. The kiss of the 2 girls even aroused his desire. After Xianyu wiped the moisture off his face, he walked towards the 2 girls with a jeer. The 2 girls who felt that Xianyu was going to do something bad also shouted, Brother Xianyu, please don't do this. Xianyu ignored the resistance of the 2 girls and directly pressed them on the bed. Yu Lingling, who was pressed on the bed by Xianyu, also asked for help, Sister Xiao, Sister Zuir, come and stop Brother Xianyu, the big bad guy. Xiao couldn't bear to see her sisters being bullied by Xianyu, the bad guy, but as soon as she approached Xianyu, she was pulled onto the bed and pressed under him by Xianyu. Jinriksu and Guyuna, who felt something was wrong, wanted to escape like they did during the day. But Xianyu had already made preparations this time. He used a space barrier to wrap the dormitory so that no one could get out. Xianyu shouted, Tonight I will 1v5 and win 5 consecutive victories. Then he directly grabbed Jinriksu and Guyuna, who were about to escape, and put them on his luxurious bed. The next afternoon, Xianyu slowly got up from the wine pool and meat forest where 5 beautiful women were lying in all directions. The first thing he did when he got up was to stretch comfortably. He didn't expect that he would sleep until the evening again. At this time, on Xianyu's big bed, the 5 beautiful women were also sleeping soundly, and each of them had a ruddy face and a spring breeze. Looking at the women who were still sleeping, Xianyu didn't intend to disturb them, but got up and dressed to see if Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing had absorbed the fairy grass that Xianyu gave them yesterday. As soon as Xianyu opened the door of the dormitory, he saw Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing standing not far from the dormitory. It was obvious that they had been waiting for a long time. Because Xianyu's dormitory was covered by a space barrier last night, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing, who came to find Xianyu, could not go in to find Xianyu, so they waited outside for a long time. Xianyu also walked in front of the 2 women who were about to fall asleep and said, I'm sorry, Rongrong, Kinger, you have been waiting for a long time, right? The 2 women who came back to their senses also said, No, Xianyu. Xianyu, Ning Rongrong was about to say something about the fairy grass when she was interrupted by Xianyu. Xianyu said, It's not late, let's go to the cafeteria for dinner first, and talk about it after we are full. Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing thought about it and nodded. In Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing's opinion, Xianyu slept until this time and got up, maybe he was really hungry. Then Xianyu, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing quickly arrived at the cafeteria. Xianyu specially asked the fat chef to make more dishes for him. After all, the battle last night consumed too much of his physical strength, so he had to eat more. While waiting for the dishes, Xianyu also asked, Rongrong, Zhuqing, what's the matter with you? It's like this, Xianyu, you gave Zhuqing and me the immortal grass, and after we took it back last night and absorbed it, our martial arts spirits evolved directly, and evolved to a realm that Zhuqing and I don't quite understand. And Zhuqing and I have each risen 10 levels, and have both reached the Soul King realm. Ning Rongrong's eyes were still filled with a faint look of disbelief while she spoke. Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing thought that Xianyu would be a little surprised after hearing the news. But what they didn't expect was that Xianyu looked normal after hearing the news, and even continued to drink tea leisurely. After Xianyu finished his tea, he slowly said, Rongrong, Zhuqing, congratulations, both of your martial souls have successfully evolved into God-level martial souls. Ah! God-level martial souls. After hearing what Tianyu said, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing were obviously surprised. God-level martial souls, they had never heard of them before, let alone suddenly having them. But Tianyu's expression was very serious, not joking at all, as if he had guessed it a long time ago. This also made them have to believe Tianyu's words. Tianyu said, Rongrong, Zhuqing, release your martial souls. Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing also nodded, and each released their evolved martial souls. Along with the 2 god levels, there was also the 50-level soul power level. After releasing the 9 treasures glazed tower, Ning Rongrong said, after absorbing the immortal grass last night, the 7 treasures glazed tower, which originally had only 7 floors, suddenly became 9 floors. This is very similar to the legendary 9 treasures glazed tower in our family, but it doesn't feel very similar. Tianyu said leisurely, Rongrong, this is of course not the 9 treasures glazed tower. This is a more powerful god-level martial spirit than the 9 treasures glazed tower. After listening to what Tianyu said, Ning Rongrong also looked at the 9 treasures glazed tower floating in her palm and murmured, is that so? By the way, Rongrong, did you awaken any new abilities after your martial spirit evolved? Tianyu also suddenly remembered and asked. It seems that there are, and there are quite a few. Ning Rongrong said. After my 7 treasures glazed tower evolved, it awakened the ability to attack and defend. Ning Rongrong herself didn't believe it after she said this. After all, how could an auxiliary martial spirit have the ability to attack and defend? Isn't this a joke? No one would believe it if she told it to others. But the fact is that Ning Rongrong really awakened this new ability after her martial spirit evolved. This is the benefit of the spirit evolving to the god level. Not only Ning Rongrong's spirit has gained new skills after evolution, but Xiao Wu, Yiren, and Lingling's spirits should have also awakened new abilities after evolution. Tianyu was too anxious last night and forgot to let the 3 girls test their new skills. Chapter 147 Testing Ning Rongrong's New Ability. Seeing Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing releasing their new martial spirits, Tianyu also said, let's go, Rongrong, Zhuqing, let's go out and try out your new martial spirit skills. Anyway, the fat teacher hasn't finished cooking yet. Then Tianyu and Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing came to the square where they usually trained. Tianyu stood in the center of the square and said to Ning Rongrong, Rongrong, use your new skills on me. At first, Ning Rongrong refused to release her new skills on Tianyu, because she was afraid that she would feel distressed and guilty if she hurt Tianyu. This made Tianyu very helpless. Almost every girl looked like this when Tianyu asked them to try to attack themselves. Tianyu persuaded Ning Rongrong for a while before she agreed to use the new skills on Tianyu. Ning Rongrong's soul power was activated, and a delicate tower shining with 9 colors of light was also suspended in Ning Rongrong's jade hand. The appearance is more beautiful than the original 7 treasures glazed tower. The tower itself shines with the same light as Yi Lingling's 9 heart glazed begonia. Tianyu nodded to Ning Rongrong, signaling her to attack without hesitation. Ning Rongrong also directly activated the 9 treasures glazed tower in her hand. The dazzling 9-color glazed tower instantly flew to the sky above Tianyu and disappeared. Just when Tianyu was wondering what skill this was, Tianyu's entire body instantly entered another space, and there was really no sign at all. If Tianyu guessed correctly, this should be one of the effects obtained after Ning Rongrong's martial soul evolved. Tianyu could feel that the moment he was pulled into this space, his soul power was losing madly, and there was no sign of stopping. If it weren't for Tianyu's extremely strong soul power, it would probably have been sucked away by most of his soul power. Tianyu had also calculated that according to the speed of extracting soul power in this array, a soul master in the Soul King realm could only last for 10 seconds at most in this space before his soul power was drained, and a soul emperor realm should be able to last about a minute. Tianyu guessed that the speed and strength of the soul extraction of this array should correspond to Ning Rongrong's realm. The higher the soul power level of Ning Rongrong, the stronger the strength and extraction speed of this array. In the array that Tianyu is in now, even if a soul Douluo fails to find a breakthrough point quickly after being sucked in, his soul power will be drained alive and he will lose his combat effectiveness. No matter how strong the soul master is, he will really be at the mercy of others after losing his soul power. You have to know that Ning Rongrong is only in the Soul King realm now. It is very terrifying for an auxiliary martial soul to have such a skill that is more terrifying than a strong attack martial soul. After testing the attack power, Tianyu also began to look for this weakness. What surprised Tianyu is that he couldn't find the weakness of this formation after searching for a long time. From this, it can be seen that the anti-breaking ability of this formation is really strong. Generally, soul masters without pupil skills can only watch their soul power being slowly sucked away when they are sucked in. This may be difficult for most soul masters, but it can't be difficult for Tianyu, a monster. Tianyu's eyes instantly shone with black-red light, and a mysterious eye instantly appeared in the sky, scanning this formation. That's right, this is the innate magical power that Tianyu has used many times, Heavenly Demon Eye. As soon as the Heavenly Demon Eye appeared, Tianyu instantly found the weakness of this formation. Tianyu jumped on the spot and punched at a point. With a bang, this formation was directly broken by Tianyu. Seeing that Tianyu broke her formation so easily, Ning Rongrong covered her mouth in surprise. You know, she and Zhu Zhuqing have tried the power of this formation. At that time, Zhu Zhuqing was trapped in the formation for only 1 minute before she could not hold on, because the formation point of this formation was really hard to find, and Zhu Zhuqing could not break the formation at all. Of course, this was also when Zhu Zhuqing stood still to let Ning Rongrong be trapped. Otherwise, with the speed of Zhu Zhuqing's martial soul awakening to the god level, Ning Rongrong would not be able to aim at the target at all. After coming out, Tianyu also said, "Rongrong, this is a very good new skill. I almost couldn't get out." Hearing Tianyu say that even he almost couldn't get out, Ning Rongrong was also surprised and said, "Really, Tianyu?" Tianyu said seriously, "Really, if I didn't also have the skill to break your formation, I might really be trapped in it today." Then Tianyu said again, "Rongrong, as long as you use this skill on soul masters of the same realm, 99.99% of soul masters trapped in it will not be able to escape. Rongrong, this is already very powerful." Ning Rongrong was also very happy after getting Tianyu's praise. "Now that we have tested your attack skills, Rongrong, let me see your defense skills," Tianyu said. Ning Rongrong nodded, and then began to activate her soul power. A shield emitting 9-color light instantly enveloped Ning Rongrong. Ning Rongrong, who was inside the 9-color light shield, also winked at Tianyu mischievously. Tianyu smiled slightly, and then moved his right fist casually. The next moment, Tianyu instantly appeared in front of Ning Rongrong, and Tianyu punched directly on the 9-color light shield. Tianyu controlled the strength, and was able to hold his hand without hurting Ning Rongrong in the instant after breaking the shield. What surprised Tianyu is that his punch, which could kill an ordinary soul emperor, only caused a slight fluctuation on the colored shield on Ning Rongrong's body. Tianyu also said, "Rongrong, your defense skill is also very strong." After receiving Tianyu's praise again, Ning Rongrong's nose inside the shield was about to turn up with pride. Tianyu, who saw this scene, also said, "Rongrong, don't be proud. Although your defensive soul skill is invincible in the same level, it is not very strong in the hands of your brother Tianyu." Then Tianyu gently urged a trace of soul power, and then gently pointed a finger at Ning Rongrong's shield. Because Tianyu's punch just now did not use soul power at all, it was pure strength, but the effect was completely different after adding soul power. The moment Tianyu's finger pointed at the shield also shattered directly like powder. Seeing that Tianyu broke her proud skill so easily, Ning Rongrong was also a little depressed in an instant. After all, Tianyu is a man who can beat up Super Douluo, and this little shield is still not difficult for him. Seeing Ning Rongrong feeling lost, Tianyu also reached out and rubbed her head and said, "Don't feel lost, Rongrong, your skill is already very strong, at least it is very strong among many defensive spirit masters, not to mention that you are just an auxiliary spirit master." Ning Rongrong thought about it and it was true. It was already very abnormal for an auxiliary spirit master like her to have such a strong defensive spirit skill. It would be a bit too much to ask for too much. Then Ning Rongrong also nodded obediently and said, "Well, Tianyu, I understand. The new skill test is over. Rongrong, try the amplification effect after your martial spirit evolves," Tianyu said. Ning Rongrong nodded and said, "Okay, Tianyu." Then Ning Rongrong began to recite, "The 7 treasures have names, one of which is power." At the moment when a spirit ring rose from Ning Rongrong, an amplification halo shining with colorful light was directly put on Tianyu's body. Chapter 148 End of the test. The moment the amplification halo appeared, Tianyu clearly felt that his own strength was instantly strengthened by about 200%. This magnitude of strengthening simply crushed all auxiliary martial spirits. "Tianyu, how is it? How much has it been strengthened?" Ning Rongrong asked cautiously. She was afraid that Tianyu would say that the result was the same as the original amplification effect. Tianyu snapped his fingers, removed the amplification halo on his body, and said, "Rongrong, no more, no less, just strengthened by 200%, directly crushing 99% of the auxiliary martial spirits." After hearing Tianyu talk about the amplification effect, Ning Rongrong also covered her mouth in surprise. Because the amplification effect of this martial spirit after evolution has increased several times compared to before. Others' first soul skills can only increase by 20% to 30% at most, while hers is directly increased by 200%. How can those auxiliary soul masters play? Ning Rongrong looked at Tianyu and said, "Tianyu, I finally know why you are so strong. It turns out that the god-level martial spirit is so terrifying." Tianyu touched Ning Rongrong's head and said, "It is undeniable that the power of the god-level martial spirit is indeed much stronger than that of ordinary martial spirits, but the only way to enhance strength is to practice well. Otherwise, a soul master who only has a god-level martial spirit and talent but cannot exert the true power of the god-level martial spirit will probably not be able to beat even an ordinary soul saint, so no matter how strong a martial spirit is, it is still necessary to practice well." Tianyu said. Ning Rongrong also nodded obediently and said, "Well, Tianyu, I know. In fact, Ning Rongrong's pursuit of strength is not very strong. She is very happy to be able to see Tianyu all the time. Oh, by the way, Zhu Zhuqing, let me try the power of your new martial spirit," Tianyu said to Zhu Zhuqing on the side. Zhu Zhuqing nodded, and then began to activate the soul power in her body. A smart, beautiful and mysterious ghost spirit cat also appeared behind Zhu Zhuqing. Zhu Zhuqing's nether spirit cat martial spirit has also changed a lot. It looks better and more mysterious overall. As for its strength, Tianyu doesn't know yet, but it should not be bad. Then Tianyu nodded to Zhu Zhuqing and said, "Zhuqing, please feel free to attack." Zhu Zhuqing is not like Ning Rongrong. She has a clear understanding of the gap between herself and Tianyu, and knows that his strength can't hurt Tianyu. So she can attack with confidence. Tianyu just blinked, and Zhu Zhuqing's figure, who was 100 meters away, appeared in front of Tianyu in an instant. A beautiful jade hand with sharp claws stabbed Tianyu directly. But before the shadow claws were about to stab him, Tianyu successfully used the power of space to avoid this move. Tianyu, who dodged, also thought it was a close call, because this attack almost hit him, but fortunately he had a fast reaction and Zhu Zhuqing deliberately slowed down. Tianyu was also very surprised that Zhu Zhuqing's speed had become so fast. Zhu Zhuqing, who was standing far away, also looked at Tianyu with innocent eyes, as if to say, "Do you want to continue?" Tianyu also waved his hand and said, "Zhu Zhuqing, continue." Zhu Zhuqing smiled slightly, and the next moment the whole person disappeared again. This was not because Zhu Zhuqing used secret soul skills and special soul power, but simply because the speed was too fast. It was so fast that even Tianyu could only see a few shallow after images without opening the heavenly Dao demon eye. The next moment, a purple light flashed, and Zhu Zhuqing's figure instantly appeared on Tianyu's side, stabbing Tianyu's waist. This time Tianyu had already prepared, and dodged the attack lightly to the side, and also reached out to touch Zhu Zhuqing's jade hand. Seeing that the attack missed, Zhu Zhuqing also quickly changed the direction of attack, but was still easily dodged by Tianyu. Tianyu even took a lot of advantage, and Tianyu's most excessive attack was directly slapped on Zhu Zhuqing's hips. Zhu Zhuqing was a little angry that Tianyu had taken advantage of her so quickly, so she directly opened her soul ring and sped up. In Tianyu's eyes, Zhu Zhuqing, who was strengthened by the soul ring, was so fast that he couldn't even see her residual shadow. After Zhu Zhuqing's speed increased, Tianyu couldn't even see her shadow, let alone take advantage of her again. After that, Tianyu could only use the power of space to avoid Zhu Zhuqing's stabbing of his kidney. When Zhu Zhuqing was proud, he didn't know that Tianyu was also starting to get serious. Tianyu, who was being chased by Zhu Zhuqing, smiled at the corner of his mouth, and then his pupils turned dark red in an instant. After opening the heavenly Dao demon eye, Tianyu also saw Zhu Zhuqing's figure, and he could see it clearly. Just when Zhu Zhuqing wanted to stab Tianyu's kidney like before, Tianyu, who originally looked flustered in Zhu Zhuqing's eyes, adjusted his state instantly and dodged her attack with a slight side. After dodging the attack, Tianyu casually slapped Zhu Zhuqing's buttocks. Zhu Zhuqing was obviously not convinced after being slapped, so she continued to attack Tianyu. But Tianyu was not in the same state as before after opening the heavenly demon eye. Facing Zhu Zhuqing's attack again, Tianyu easily dodged it again, and then slapped Zhu Zhuqing's buttocks again. After that, Zhu Zhuqing continued to attack Tianyu unconvinced, while Tianyu kept dodging easily and took advantage of Zhu Zhuqing. After dozens of moves, Zhu Zhuqing no longer dared to attack, and stood there, covering her buttocks that were almost swollen from being slapped by Tianyu. In the following dozens of moves, she failed to touch Tianyu once, and was teased by Tianyu in various ways. Tianyu, who was standing not far from Zhu Zhuqing, continued to wave at Zhu Zhuqing and said, "Zhuqing, go on." Seeing Tianyu's mean look, Zhu Zhuqing also pretended to be angry and stamped her feet and said, "HMPH Tianyu, you are too much? I will ignore you." Then she turned around and looked for Ning Rongrong, who was gloating on the side. Tianyu thought that he was indeed a little too much, so he planned to apologize to Zhu Zhuqing. But as soon as he walked into Zhu Zhuqing, he felt a sudden pain in his abdomen. He looked carefully and found that it was Zhu Zhuqing who stabbed him in the waist. Tianyu also covered his waist and said, "Kinger, you actually cheated on your brother Tianyu's feelings." Zhu Zhuqing shook his black hair and said proudly, "Who asked you to bully me first?" "Wrong. I was stabbed by Kinger. It hurts." After Tianyu finished speaking, he wanted to lean on Ning Rongrong, the little girl, to find comfort and take advantage of her, but Ning Rongrong dodged him directly. Rongrong, who was hiding aside, stuck out her tongue and said, "Brother Tianyu, you are a big pervert, don't even think about deceiving others." Seeing that he couldn't deceive Ning Rongrong, Tianyu turned around and walked towards the cafeteria, saying, "Oh, Rongrong can't be deceived now, it's boring, let's eat." "Tianyu, your acting skills are so bad, how can you possibly deceive others?" Ning Rongrong said arrogantly. Tianyu also smiled slightly and said nothing. Chapter 149, Heading to the Star Forest. In a blink of an eye, a week has passed. Tianyu also enjoyed a period of sexual bliss and comfort, and indulged in the gentleness of several women every day. It was fine at the beginning, but after a long time, Tianyu was a little overwhelmed. So he planned to go out for a walk and breathe some fresh air. Did Yilingling, Ning Rongrong and other women break through to New Realm some time ago? After a period of diligent dual cultivation of yin and yang with Tianyu, the woman's suddenly soaring soul power has also been consolidated. It's time to get new soul rings. So Tianyu decided to take them to the Xingdao Great Forest to get new soul rings. After Flanders learned that Tianyu was going to the Xingdao Great Forest, he also wanted to protect his safety in person. But he was directly rejected by Tianyu. With Tianyu's strength, does he still need the protection of Flanders, a soul saint? He also disliked Flanders for disturbing her and several beauties' forest journey. Tianyu brought Yilingling, Meng Yiren, Zhu Zhuqing, and Ning Rongrong, 4 girls who needed to obtain spirit rings. Xiao Wu, Jin Ringsu, and Gu Yuna did not need to obtain spirit rings, so Tianyu did not bring them. After all, it would be difficult to take care of too many people. Tianyu also went to the largest guard guild in the Xiandao Empire to rent a luxury fleet of cars to escort him and the girls to the Xingdao Great Forest. On the way from Shrek Academy to the Xingdao Great Forest, in one of the carriages of a fleet of several luxury carriages, Tianyu was lying comfortably on the knee pillow prepared for him by Yilingling. Tianyu was eating the grapes that Ning Rongrong had peeled for him, and he was also looking at the scenery outside the window. Looking at Tianyu enjoying himself so much, the coachman who drove the carriage for Tianyu was also extremely envious. The coachman thought to himself, which sect is Tianyu from? The super young master came out to play? Not only did he rent the most expensive motorcade in their entire guild, but he also had so many beautiful women around him that he had never seen before. He was really rich and talented. Tianyu could actually use the power of space to teleport several women directly to the Xingdao Great Forest. But he didn't want to. He just wanted to enjoy the scenery along the way. To put it bluntly, he was just free. In order to avoid unnecessary troubles, Tianyu also hired a large motorcade to escort him. This motorcade charged 5 million gold soul coins. It was the most luxurious and expensive motorcade in their Xiandao Guard Guild. 5 million gold soul coins was not a small amount of money for Tianyu. This motorcade consisted of 5 luxurious carriages. The 5 horses pulling the carriages were not ordinary horses, but horse-like soul beasts that had been tamed by humans for tens of thousands of years. The motorcade rented by Tianyu was protected by a dozen Soul King Masters, 3 Soul Emperor Masters and 1 Soul Saint Master. They would safely protect Tianyu to the town outside the Xingdao Great Forest. Normal bandits would choose to ignore this kind of convoy, because these ordinary bandits can't afford to fence such a large convoy. So no bandits who don't care about their lives would choose this kind of convoy as their target. But today is different. Not far from Tianyu's convoy, several black-clothed figures are observing Tianyu's convoy. Because the journey is quite long, Tianyu's convoy has only traveled 6/10 of the way until the evening. It's dark, and there are no inns within 100 kilometers around, which means that Tianyu's convoy needs to camp in the wilderness tonight. In the carriage where Tianyu was playing with several girls at this time. The driver who drove the carriage for Tianyu also reported to Tianyu, "Master Tian, I'm afraid we can't reach the Xingdao Great Forest today, so we need to find a place to camp now." After listening to the driver's report, Tianyu said, "This journey is indeed very long, and it's not easy to continue at night. Okay, let the team stop and rest for a night first." Then Tianyu also sent out a gold soul card through the power of space, saying, "Brothers have worked hard today, this is a tip for the brothers." The driver who received Tianyu's tip also immediately took the gold soul card to divide the money. Tianyu directly stuffed 10 million gold soul coins into the card. On average, each of them can get about 300,000 gold soul coins, which is equivalent to several months' salary for some of them. A team member who received benefits from Tianyu also said, "Young Master Tian is really rich and powerful, with a lot of money and billions, and he is very approachable. I must protect young Master Tian's safety and not let him down for his kindness to us." "Nonsense, do you need to say that? Which blind robber dares to attack young Master Tian's team? My brother will be the first to fight it," a team member said. Then the team members who received benefits from Tianyu in the team also praised Tianyu in various ways. "Okay, stop bragging, go down and arrange the best tent for the employer," a middle-aged man with a strong and calm aura said. After hearing this person speak, the team members who were still bragging also went to work. Obviously, this middle-aged man who is quite majestic among the team members is the captain of the team. I saw that this person is strong, 2 meters tall, dark skin, and a long scar on his face. From his appearance, it can be seen that this person is a person who licks blood on the tip of a knife. Although he has a calm aura, the aura that he inadvertently reveals can still prove that he is a level 70 soul saint. The scarred middle-aged man looked at Tianyu's tent with deep eyes, thinking, "This young man is rich and powerful, with extraordinary temperament, and there are several beautiful beauties around him. He must be the young master of a super-rich family." But the problem is that shouldn't people of this level be protected by masters? Why haven't we seen any masters around this young man after escorting him for so long? During the whole journey, he has always acted calm and heartless, as if he is not worried at all that robbers will come to rob the car. Is he really capable? Or is he just a dandy? The middle-aged man thought so in his heart. Compared with the latter, the scarred middle-aged man believes that Tianyu belongs to the former, because he always feels that Tianyu is definitely not simple. Then the scarred middle-aged man said to another person with a strong aura beside him, "Gee, let the brothers be alert tonight." Boss, is there a situation?" the man named G asked. He is one of the 3 soul emperors in this team, and the strongest person in this team except the scarred middle-aged man. "Well, yes, my intuition tells me that tonight is destined to be a troubled night," the scarred middle-aged man said seriously. He is the ace guard of their Xiandao Guard Guild, and the success rate of the escort mission is 99%. It can be said that as long as he's on the escort mission, there will be no failure. The reason why he has such a high escort success rate is not only because he has very strong strength, but also because of his ridiculously accurate intuition, which is why he can see that Tianyu is not simple. Okay, boss, I will give the order. Then the man named Ji also started to give the order. Book Friends Group. 100,861,943 join the group to urge for updates. Please join the group. Chapter 150 Night Attack. Late at night, in Tianyu's luxurious tent. Looking at the seductive curves of the women when they changed into pajamas, Tianyu couldn't help but reach out and embrace Yi Lingling and Meng Yiren. Feeling that Tianyu was going to do something bad, Yi Lingling said in panic, "Brother Tianyu, can we not do it tonight?" "Oh? Lingling, why not?" Tianyu asked the two women who were resisting. Yi Lingling explained in a low voice, "Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing are still here, and they are also outside the tent." After listening to Yi Lingling's explanation, Tianyu still didn't let go of the two women. Tianyu blew hot air into Yi Lingling's ear and said, "Why are you shy? It's not like Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing haven't seen it before. At most, let Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing join in." Tianyu was now completely shameless. Even Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing were blushing at this time. Seeing Tianyu still going on, Yi Lingling quickly pointed to the figure standing guard for Tianyu outside the tent. Tianyu also said, "Don't worry, Lingling, I have used my soul power to isolate the tent from the outside world. They can't see or hear what's going on inside." Tianyu was about to put it in. Just when Tianyu was about to put it in, a sudden violent soul power fluctuation came directly from outside the tent. The sudden explosion startled Tianyu, causing Tianyu's hand to slip and slide out from the side. Seeing that Tianyu didn't succeed, Yi Lingling was relieved. But Tianyu was very upset in his heart, obviously just a little bit. Seeing Tianyu still going on, Yi Lingling said, "Brother Tianyu, you should go and see what's going on outside first, okay? Please." Tianyu thought about it and pulled up his pants, and decided to go out to see what was going on. He wanted to see who was the stubborn one who came to disturb him again. He originally rented a fleet of cars just because he didn't want to bother with it, just to threaten those troublemakers. As a result, even in this situation, there are still fearless people who come to his door. Tianyu is very angry now. Anyone who is Tianyu will be very angry if they encounter this situation. He was about to succeed in getting close to Yi Lingling, but he missed the target at the last moment. Tianyu just walked out of the tent slowly, and several figures who were guarding in front of Tianyu's tent just now also surrounded him and protected Tianyu in their circle. The black-haired middle-aged man said, "Master Tian, there is an enemy attack. The captain and others have already dealt with it. You go back to the tent first, and we will protect your safety." Tianyu, who saw their behavior, also thought that the professional team was indeed professional, but Tianyu didn't need their protection. He wanted to see what kind of stubborn cows and horses disturbed his good things. Tianyu appeared directly dozens of meters away with a special force, which directly stunned the several soul kings who were responsible for protecting Tianyu. Tianyu said calmly, "I don't need your protection yet. Let's go and see which little cutie is bothering me." Then Tianyu also walked slowly towards the direction of the battle. One of the soul kings who was responsible for protecting Tianyu said, "Young Master Tian is really as hidden as the captain said." "Well, young Master Tian's speed just now was too fast. I didn't even react. He must have the strength of a soul saint at least. I don't know. Let's go first. No matter how powerful young Master Tian is, we have received his benefits after all. We still have to follow him." Then several people followed Tianyu's pace and walked towards the direction of the battle. After a while, Tianyu also came to the side where the explosion just came from. There were two powerful figures confronting each other right in front of Tianyu. One figure was Xiaoji, one of the three soul emperors in Tianyu's team, and the figure opposite him was a man who looked gloomy and was wearing a black robe. Tianyu, who felt that the soul power of this person was a bit strange, also asked, "What is this? Why does it feel a bit strange?" A Soul King member beside him also explained to Tianyu, "Master Tian, don't you know? This is an evil soul master. Evil soul master." No wonder Tianyu felt that the soul power of this person was so strange. It turned out that he was a madman like the evil sects such as the Blood sect and the Zuanin sect. "Yes, Master Tian, It is an evil soul master. The Soul King said. Tianyu said, why would these evil soul masters rob people? The Soul King said, Master Yan, you look like someone who has never been robbed. Robbers are basically all these evil soul masters. None of them are human. Not only do they rob people of their money, they also kill people cruelly, or capture them to use as materials for practicing magic. They are totally inhumane. Moreover, the whereabouts of these evil soul masters are very strange. The Empire has sent experts to encircle and suppress them many times, but their whereabouts are too strange. When they hide, even the titled Douluo powerhouses find it difficult to find them. Moreover, they are some things that can't be killed. Basically, after each wave is wiped out, a new wave of evil soul masters will appear soon. Most of them are normal soul masters who have fallen for strength and money. This is why our guardian guild exists. Tianyu understood after hearing the explanation. He didn't expect there were so many reasons. After all, he had never been robbed before, and he had never carefully understood them. Tianyu basically killed them every time he saw them. Tianyu was also planning when to kill them all. After all, these cattle and horses had disturbed him more than many times. For example, the Blood Sect and the Zuanine Sect last time, although they were all ants and could not do anything to him, he was also very annoyed by being troubled all the time. And Tianyu had said before that he would kill these things once he met them. As for the few who came to trouble him this time, Tianyu decided to have a good time with them first. The scene turned to the battle scene. The Soul Emperor named Ji and the Evil Soul Master also started fighting directly after they met. The middle-aged man with the scar originally wanted to deal with the Evil Soul Master himself, but the man named Ji wanted to fight against the Evil Soul Master of the same level to test the strength gap between the Soul Master and the Evil Soul Master, so he applied for a single challenge against the Evil Soul Master. Scar Soul Saint also looked around and found that there was only this Evil Soul Master, so he also approved the Soul Emperor named Ji to challenge this Evil Soul Master, who was also at the Soul Emperor level. If it was an emergency, he would not let Ji fight one-on-one. After all, why fight alone when you can fight in a group? In addition, these Evil Soul Masters are very insidious and cunning, and you can't be sure what they are planning. The middle-aged man named Ji also summoned his martial soul directly. His martial soul is a long sword, and the quality of the martial soul is also very good. The soul ring configuration is yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, and black. Coincidentally, the martial soul of the Evil Soul Master is also a black long sword. The temperament exuded by the martial soul is also good, and the soul ring configuration is also yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, and black. The soul power level of both parties is the Soul Emperor level of level 66. A purple soul ring quickly floated up from the man named Ji. Broken Sky Slash. The moment the soul ring rose, a white light instantly shone on Ji's long sword. Book Friends Group. 100,861,943 Join the group to urge for more updates. Please join the group. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.